We apologize for the late start, but my name is Jordan Brenner, and to my left is Jonathan Rifkind. We have Conejo Oaks and Coastal Cubs baseball coming at you for the next few hours. Since we're so late, we're going to get right into the lineups. First, for the visiting Coastal Cubs, who the Oaks have played 2 times this year, and they are 2-0 against the Cubs by a pretty large margin. Leading off for the Cubs and DHing from Santa Barbara City College, Jared Hiskey, the DH. Batting second from Cuesta, the right fielder, Gabe Barthelmess. Batting third from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, the center fielder, Brock Mortensen. After him, from Santa Barbara City College, the first baseman, Phil Quintaro. After him, David Martinez, the third baseman, also from Cuesta. In the 6th spot, Balin Markridge, the left fielder from Cuesta College. Batting 7th, Carson O'Connor, the second baseman from De Anza City College. Batting 8th, Ryan Gardino, the shortstop from Santa Barbara City College. And rounding out the order, squatting behind the plate from Cal Baptist, Tanner Amaral. The starting pitcher for the Conejo Oaks today, number 31, Aiden Dolan, who has been very, very good this year. Now the Oaks field will get their lineup in the bottom half of the first inning. Andrew Lucas gets the start in left field. Elijah Alexander's in center field. Michael Spears gets the start in right. At first base from USC, the Bart West. At second base, Tanner Wright. The shortstop is Will Pickett's. Brandon Lewis mans the hot corner. And Drew Sims is behind the plate. We're going to get right to baseball now as Jared Hiskey steps on in there for his first at-bat of the game. The Oaks led off the season against the Coastal Cubs this year. They won 9-3 in that game. And then on July 3rd, they played again, and the Oaks were winners in that game, 12-1. The first pitch is low and away, and the first pitch time is 5:04 p.m.
Temperature pretty good, too, in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Next pitch from Dolan at the knees, called a strike, which is 1 ball and 1 strike is the count.
It's ironic because of how hot it's been today in triple digits, but here at game time, temperature 15 degrees less than when the team arrived back at 2 o'clock.
1-1 offering. Called a strike again, off speed from Dolan. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dolan kicks and fires. The pitch off speed, a big swing and a miss. That's how you start off a ball game, Jonathan. 1 batter faced, 1 strikeout.
Yeah, Dolan's coming off a pretty good start last week. His ERA has jumped a little bit from 2.25 up to 3.18. That was because he gave up a couple runs against the Saints a week ago, but he still looks pretty good, and I think he's going to capitalize off that start with 1 here today.
First pitch is a chopper over to the third baseman. Lewis sidearm over to first easily, and Gabe Barthelmess is retired on the 5-3 putout. Aiden Dolan is 3-0 this year with an ERA, as you mentioned, Jonathan, of 3.18. He's also gone 22 2/3 innings. He has emerged as the clear number 2 or 3 option on the Oaks, at least in my opinion. Dolan sets and fires. A ground ball foul to the right side to Brock Mortensen, the center fielder. Mortensen, one of the most impressive players on this Coastal Cubs team from what we've seen so far of them this year. 0-1. Dolan gets his sign from Sims, squatting behind the plate, off speed, down low, and a big swing and a miss. He's up 0-2 now. Mortensen was 1 for 3 with 2 walks and a run scored the last time these two teams met, and he fouls one off of his front ankle to stay alive. Oaks put up 14 hits in that 12-1 victory on July 3rd. David Appleby was a winner in that game. It was a committee approach, though, on the mound. Big curveball on the 0-2 pitch, and a big swing and a miss for the second strikeout of the game. So Aiden Dolan starting things off correctly for Conejo, and through a half inning, the score is still 0-0. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. To the bottom half of the inning we go on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The Oaks come to bat here in the bottom of the first inning. Aiden Dolan was terrific in the top half of the inning, striking out 2 batters. Quickly, I'll give you the Conejo Oaks lineup. Will Pickett's the shortstop is leading off. Brandon Lewis after him. The third baseman after him. Elijah Alexander in the 3 spot. In the 4 spot, the DH Bailey Holbrook. Drew Sims in the 5th spot, squatting behind the plate. Number 6, Bart West, the first baseman, as the first pitch to Will Pickett's comes in 91 miles an hour upstairs and inside. Batting 7th for the Oaks, the right fielder Michael Spears. Batting 8th, Andrew Lucas, the left fielder. And rounding out the order at second base, Tanner Wright. Pickett's digs in. The 1-0 pitch, another high fastball that misses. And the count is quickly 2 balls and no strikes. Will Pickett's has emerged tremendously over the last month or so after an abysmal start to the season. 2-0 comes in, hit hard down the left field line. That's going to be good for extra bases. Pickett's around first, hustling into second base. The throw comes in, not in time. Pickett's is safe at second base with a double. Good start for Conejo. For Will Pickett's. That is his first double of the season. Until then, he had 16 hits, all of which were singles. That is quite impressive. The average was at 229 before that at-bat. You got to believe it's above 230. And Pickett's was a guy hitting under 100 for a large portion of the season. Brandon Lewis takes a fastball inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Lewis on the air, 375. 9 home runs, 32 RBIs. The front runner for the CCL MVP. 1-0. Lewis pops one up on the infield, miles into the air. Emerging from shortstop, Gardino, all the way on the other side of the infield, makes the play for the first out of the inning. So it'll be Elijah Alexander coming in with his first at-bat. We didn't get a lot of time to talk before the game, Jonathan, but one big storyline if you're a Conejo Oaks fan. The San Luis Obispo Blues, they split their series up in Healdsburg, and now Friday's game against Healdsburg is pretty much a win-in situation for Conejo at the 4 spot in the CCL playoffs.
Not pretty much. That's exactly what it is.
Elijah Alexander cuts through a fastball upstairs to put the count at no balls and a strike.
Yeah, I mean, it's win or go home. The Oaks lose on Friday against the Healdsburg Prune Packers. They host the playoffs, but they won't be in attendance as a team.
0-1 pitch. Down and away, and the count is even.
Which begs the question here, Jordan, what kind of Oaks team are we going to see today and tomorrow for the interleague games? And what kind of Healdsburg team are the Oaks going to see on Friday? Because remember, Healdsburg has already clinched the playoffs. They might not want to throw their best stuff out there.
It's a great point. A ball and a striking out. The pitch to Alexander, tapped foul to the right side to put the count at 1-2.
So what you want to look for is a lot of different guys for the Oaks. The lineup's going to be switched up. First of all, Dylan Francis, Oaks pitcher, is going to get an opportunity to bat today because they hit a home run during pitcher's batting practice earlier today. You're going to see Bailey Holbrook, who's DHing today, also pitch in the 9th inning. You're going to see guys, Michael Tillman, who you don't normally see come in because not only are they getting opportunities here in interleague, but they're going to be needed on Friday in what could be a close game.
1-2 off speed. Alexander swings through it. The first strikeout of the ball game for Mike Jacobson. And 2 away with a runner on second for the DH, Bailey Holbrook. Yeah, Chase Cockrell is not in the lineup today.
No Sam Shakin.
No Sam Shakin. Some Oaks regulars getting the day off, keeping them fresh, while at the same time keeping bench guys fresh by giving them some opportunity to play. And because the Oaks pretty much, they have a 3-game playoff schedule. And it starts on Friday with that regular season contest against Healdsburg. That is a playoff game for Conejo. Holbrook confused with that curveball in the dirt, and he's behind 0-1.
Yeah, not only that, Healdsburg has 2 more league games. They play on Thursday against the Riptide and Friday against the Oaks. If they lose on Thursday, then if they lose on Friday, the Oaks would be the 3 seed and the Riptide would be the 4 seed. So it's a whole mishmash of things going on.
Holbrook, a ground ball hit hard to Quintaro. He fields, foot race over to first base, and Quintaro wins for the 3rd out of the inning. Will Pickett's leads off with a double to left field, but Oaks can't do anything with it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a runner left aboard through 1-0-0. To the second we go on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. In for the top of the second inning, it begins with the Santa Barbara City College first baseman, Phil Quintaro. Quintaro, in the last matchup against the Oaks, went 3 for 4. He also committed an error, but had 2 doubles in that game. Number 42 grounds over to Lewis, easily over to first base. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second inning.
Good start here for Dolan. Not pitching necessarily for strikeouts, even though he has 2 Ks. Just some light contact there from Quintaro. That makes it 4 straight here to begin the ball game for Aiden Dolan.
David Martinez, the third baseman, next to hit for the Coastal Cubs. Looks at a strike at 82. It's 0-1. Didn't appear in the last game between the Oaks and the Cubs, but in the first contest to lead off the season, he went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Next pitch is low to even the count at 1-1. We last saw Aiden Dolan in that terrific contest against the Arroyo Seco Saints in Pasadena. Dolan wasn't as sharp as he's ever been, but he certainly did enough to keep the Oaks in that game. Swinging another chopper foul to the right side. A ball and 2 strikes.
And he's still looking for a home in the fall. Finished up his eligibility at Oxnard and is currently unsigned.
For Dolan, it is a fastball slider splitter combination. And there's the slider popped up in foul territory. Brandon Lewis by himself makes the catch. And 2 away here in the second inning. Aiden Dolan is cruising to start this ball game off.
He is, and David Martinez lost the handle there with his bat. He actually lost the grip on that swing. It came around and was thrown behind him. Didn't matter, though. That ball was going nowhere very far, and Lewis was there to recover it.
Dolan gets his sign. Quickly on the mound. Fires a first pitch strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. Ready to go again. Balin Markridge, the lefty, takes a curveball low to even the count at 1. It's going to be quite the last week of the season. The Oaks are coming off a weekend series against the Santa Barbara Foresters.
This weekend, Jordan, as that pitch missed low, was the best weekend of baseball, not only that I've seen this season, but that I've seen in the last 3 years here in the CCL. I mean, not only was there an offensive explosion on Saturday, but it was a pitcher's duel on Sunday.
2-1. That's a fastball that started at the front hip of Markridge, and it came right back over the middle of the plate.
And the thing that shocked me the most is the Oaks held the Foresters to 7 hits combined the entire weekend. That's pretty incredible.
2-2, low and inside to make the count full. And we saw Dylan Francis and Justin Friedman throw perhaps the two best starts a Conejo Oak has had this season.
In a long time, not even just this season. I mean, what they did was what Isaiah Campbell was like against Team USA 2 years ago for the Oaks. They were otherworldly.
Swing and a miss on the full count pitch. Number 3 in the strikeout category for Aiden Dolan. He has 2 1-2-3 frames to begin this ball game. To the bottom of the second we go. Sims, West, and Spears when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Drew Sims in for his first at-bat today. The Oaks, they got a hit in the bottom of the first inning, but they stranded Will Pickett's at second base. Right back to action here, trying to scrape across the first run of the ball game. Sims takes a slider inside corner, called a strike. We haven't seen Drew in a little while. Good to see him back in the lineup. I haven't seen him since San Luis Obispo. He fouls off the 0-1 pitch, a grounder to the left side, picked up by Andrew Lucas in foul territory. The count is 0-2. Powerful catcher awaits the 0-2 pitch. Kick and the offering. Spiked in the dirt away. It's 1-2. Drew Sims this year, his average was at around 340, but it's dropped to 318. A home run and 7 RBIs. A platoon roll at the catcher position. 1-2, high fastball. Did he go? No, he did not, says the first base umpire. The count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sims, the catcher at Utah Valley University, his most notable hit this year came at the Orange County Riptide. To go-ahead 3-run home run. 1-2, just a bit inside. Misses the inside corner. And the count is full now at 3-2. One of the best defensive catchers in the CCL as well. Doesn't get a lot of credit for that. Hits one hard, deep left field. Going back, Markridge at the track. And the center fielder, Mortensen, slides. He can't get it. Sims hustles into second base. And similar to the first inning with the Oaks, for the Oaks, Drew Sims leads off with a double.
Good lead off there for Drew Sims. Not the fastest guy, but skied that one out to left center field. Mortensen made a good attempt at it, but just out of the reach of his extended glove off of the dive. I think Markridge could have had it if Mortensen veered to his right, but nonetheless, the Oaks have their first runner in scoring position. Actually, no, they did have Will Pickett's back in the first, but nonetheless, a good opportunity to get on the board first here.
It'll be Bart West to drive him in. Fastball almost hits him on the left shoulder. He scoots out of the way. 1-0. Bart West, 273 this season, a home run, and 15 RBIs. Leads the team in walks and strikeouts. 1-0. Jacobson kicks and offers. Just a bit inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Against the Cubs, in the previous contest, the Oaks in the previous contest, the Oaks put up 8 runs in the first 3 innings. A little bit slower this time, at least so far, as 2-0 misses away. And Bart West, in a very hitter-friendly count at 3 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, it seems like Jacobson shying away from him after dealing a fastball to Sims that let off the double.
West takes 3-0, toes the inside corner, called a strike. Already some action in the Oaks bullpen. Jackson Simon's guard is up. We'll see if that's just a bullpen or whether he could be in the game soon. 3 balls a strike. The pitch, Bart West, the high skyer to center field deep. Mortensen back, makes a running catch. Sims tags from second base. The throw will be cut off at shortstop by Gardino. And the Oaks 90 feet away from going on top. 1-0 here. Michael Spears is the new hitter. Bart West hit that ball very, very hard. Unlucky for him, it was the deepest part of the yard.
Yeah, it was a little bit flat, too. I think if he cut under it a little bit more, would have had the distance to get out of here, but just held off a little bit there towards the end of his swing, allowed for that ball to stay in the park and made it playable for Mortensen.
Michael Spears, the Ole Miss Rebel, and right fielder today, swings and drives on high, but not deep to center field. Will that be enough to score? Drew Sims, he tags up on his way to the plate. The throw is cut off, and that means Caneo is on top, 1-0. That's a productive at-bat for Michael Spears, as Sims hustles home to score the run.
Yeah, give it a hockey assist right there to Bart West.
Yeah, Michael Spears gets his 8th RBI of the season. Most of what Spears has done most of what Michael Spears has brought to the team has to do with patience and speed, as he leads the Oaks he's tied for the lead in walks for the Oaks and leads the team in in stolen bases. Excuse me. First pitch bounces in the dirt to Andrew Lucas away. A ball and no strikes. Andrew Lucas has been much more productive in non-league games this season, so expect a big day from the righty. And there you have it, a hard line drive down the left field line, almost to the wall, but cut off by the left fielder Markridge. And another double for Caneo, their 3rd of the day. And Oaks still swinging the bats hot here early in this ball game.
That's efficiency. 3 at-bats for base hits. All 3 have been doubles. Now the Oaks need to find a way to muster up a couple more runs. I think they want to make this game out of reach early. They certainly can do that, but with 2 outs here, it may take more than just the 2nd inning to break the lead wide open.
Tanner Wright hitting .321, an RBI opportunity. Takes 87 on the outer half for strike 1. Wright has 27 hits this season. 23 of those are singles. Off speed away to make the count 1-1. He has a triple, 3 doubles. His on-base percentage is at .400. Such a weapon at the bottom of the lineup. Ball and a strike. Lucas off of second. The pitch. Inside, almost hits him. But he's out of the way in time. 2 balls and a strike. Good crowd on hand here at Sparky Anderson Field for a non-league contest. Really no major implications riding on this game, but certainly a great opportunity for a lot of these players on both sides to showcase their abilities as 2-1 touches the outside corner. And here's the situation. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Andrew Lucas is on second. Jacobson checks the runner. And here's the toss. Off-speed ground ball to the left side. It's going to be Martinez over to first base to Quintaro to end the threat. The side is retired on a run and 2 hits. No errors and only 1 runner left aboard. The Oaks jump out to a 1-0 lead as we head to the 3rd inning. It's going to be Aiden Dolan back out there for his 3rd inning of work on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're in for the top of the third inning. Aiden Dolan is dealing right now. First pitch, hunting again for the Cubs. A fly ball out to center field. And that's Elijah Alexander's territory. He makes an easy catch for the first out of the inning. July 24th is the date, and what a historical date in baseball history it is.
Oh, please enlighten us, Mr. Brenner.
I will. I was so excited when I read about this earlier today. Jackie Robinson in 1947 stole home for the first time in his entire Major League Baseball career. First pitch is on the outside corner. Called a strike to the new hitter, Ryan Gardino, the shortstop. He stole home for the first time in his Major League career. And that's what Robinson was known for, his abilities on the base paths. 0-1 turns to 0-2 on the splitter. That was a beauty on the outside corner. That was in a win for the Brooklyn Dodgers over Pittsburgh. 4-2 was the score. Dolan's 0-2 pitch. A soft ground ball over to second base. Tanner right to Bart West for the second out of the inning. We are moving along today, Jonathan. Oaks want to get out of here with an easy win. They did get those easy wins against the Cubs twice before. Also on this date in history was the famous pine tar incident with the Kansas City Royals' George Brett. First pitch fouled off out of play by Tanner Amaral. And this was a really interesting story. George Brett hit a go-ahead two-run home run in the ninth inning with 2 outs. But the home run was called back because George Brett had a little bit too much pine tar on his bat. 0-1 turns to 0-2, and Aiden Dolan cannot miss right now. So the Royals, they went on to lose the game, but they did protest it. George Brett had one of the best eruptions in Major League Baseball history, and we're going to have to end that story there because Aiden Dolan strikes out Tanner Amaral. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings for Aiden Dolan. He picks up his 4th strikeout of the contest. The Oaks come to bat with Will Pickett's leading off in the bottom of the third inning when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Will Pickett's, he's 1 for 1 already today with a double. And now he's in for his second at-bat today in the bottom of the third inning. Caneo is up 1-0. They have 3 hits in the ball game. The Coastal Cubs have 0-0-0 in runs, hits, and errors. First pitch to Pickett. Swing and a miss. Fastball, he was hunting it. It was high, though. But he swings through it. It's 0-1. Pickett digs back in there. Tending Cal State Bakersfield. 0-1, high and inside, a ball and a strike. The final story a baseball story that I'll give you that happened on July 24th in history is pretty recent. It happened in 2010. First, the 1-1 pitch to Pickett's. A looper. Will it drop into left field? No, it will not. Balaam Markridge comes in to snag it for the first out of the inning. Joe Madden is now famous as the manager who brought the Chicago Cubs their first world championship in over 100 years. But before he managed in Chicago, he was the longtime manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. And on July 24th, 2010, the Rays snapped an 18-game losing streak with a 6-3 win against the Indians. Brandon Lewis, a big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch away, 0-1. Joe Madden on the same day snapped an 0-for-21 personal losing streak against the visiting manager. 0-1, misses high and inside. Actually, it was an 0-for-21 against the Indians, going back to when he was an interim manager with the Anaheim Angels. 1-1. Brandon Lewis, another high pop out, but it's fouling out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. Lewis is 0-for-1 today. Expect him to do some damage at some point today. Because if it's a day of the week, you know Brandon Lewis is swinging the bat well. And what do you know? A high deep drive. Left field. Markridge at the track makes the catch. For the second out of the inning, Lewis just a bit underneath that one, and the Cal Lutheran wind brought it back into play. Elijah Alexander, the final hope for Conejo here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Elijah this year, .324, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. Leads the team, along with 4 other Oaks, with 2 triples this season, both of which came in San Luis Obispo, believe it or not. And he's hit on the first pitch he sees, but he seems to be all right. He shakes it off and limps on over to first base, but he seems to be fine. No coaches are checking on him. It'll be Bailey Holbrook's turn. Bailey hit into a ground out to end the 1st inning. And that was his only plate appearance. He's 0-for-1. Holbrook, 140 on the year, a home run, 4 RBIs as well. Has 6 hits, but he's definitely been swinging the bat better. Highlighted by a big weekend in Santa Barbara this past week. Takes the first pitch inside, 1-0.
Back.
1-0 pitch. The runner goes. Called a strike, but Elijah Alexander steals the base easily. That is his 9th stolen base on the season, and he's now 9-for-12 on the base paths. That is a very good number for Elijah. A ball and a strike to Holbrook, who had, as I mentioned, the big weekend in Santa Barbara, had a 2-hit game in the Oaks win in Santa Barbara on Saturday. Foul tips that one near the right side and out of play. One and two. Alexander off of second base. Holbrook stretches out, prepares himself. In that game on Saturday, Holbrook had a hit from the right side and the left side. The first Oak to do that all year, and the first we've seen from any player all year. But he strikes out to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Elijah stranded on second base. To the 4th we go. 1-0 Conejo on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're back for the top of the fourth inning. Caneo is on top 1-0. And for play-by-play in the fourth, fifth, and sixth frame is my broadcasting partner in crime, Jonathan Rifkind.
Thank you, Jordan. Phenomenal job taking the lead today. Very happy to get more consistency from you here today, but we have a ball game. 1-0 here to Jared Hiskey back at the top of the order. Aiden Dolan back out there, deals the first pitch to the lefty, slapped down the left field line, and that goes into left field in fair territory. Hiskey's not only on for the first hit here for the Cubs, but that's the first base runner through the first 10 batters allowed here by Aiden Dolan on the ball game. Jared Hiskey from Santa Barbara City College got a handle on it. He was actually very late, and it barely stayed into fair territory. Right away, the Oaks have new fielders. Tanner Wright's at third base now.
I think there's just a shift in the infield. Just a shift in positioning. Lewis is playing shortstop.
Yeah, and moving over from short to second is Pickett's. First pitch to Barthelmess, Gabriel Barthelmess, who's over 1 today. Taken at the knees for strike 1. Third and final time these two teams play. June 3rd was the first matchup the Oaks won. July 3rd was the second matchup, and the Oaks won. Dolan toes the rubber and offers the 0-1. Fastball outside for ball 1. Hiskey on first. Has some speed, though. Not lightning quick with Sims behind the dish. I wouldn't expect the Cubs, unless they're feeling very aggressive, to steal. The Cubs, of course, a travel team, not affiliated with a league, and go around and play various teams around the Southern California area. The 1-1 from Dolan. Upstairs, ball 2. But for the Oaks, today and tomorrow, interleague games. And Jordan mentioned on Friday is a winner-go-home situation, which is ironic because home for the playoffs, the Oaks are hosting. They'd rather at least participate in one of the games than have to show up and accommodate the other 4 teams that made it. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Barthelmess. Dolan offers, crack down the line. Fouled out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here's what happens. Here's how the playoff picture looks. The Foresters currently hold the number 1 spot. They're going to stay in the number 1 spot. They clinched the best record in the CCL 2 weeks ago. That was without a question. Currently, the Healdsburg Prune Packers are in second, and the Orange County Riptide are in third. The Oaks are in fourth. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Runner on first. No outs. Dolan rocks and fires. Split finger on the inside corner. Called strike 3. Barthelmess gets caught in his shoes. He couldn't lift the bat. Strikeout number 5 here for Dolan. 1 out, 1 on. The Orange County Riptide play the Academy Baron tomorrow. And then they play the Healdsburg Prune Packers. If the Riptide lose tomorrow and they lose on Thursday, then the Riptide, no matter what, are the 4th seed in the playoffs. Which means that if the Oaks win on Friday against the Healdsburg Prune Packers, then the Oaks could be the 3rd seed. And the Packers will be the 4th seed. First pitch upstairs to Brock Mortensen, who struck out to end the first inning for ball 1, excuse me. So the Oaks, the only way they could avoid the 3rd seed, or the 4th seed, and playing the Foresters in the first round of the playoffs, is if the Riptide lose tomorrow and Thursday, and the Oaks win on Friday. Lefty on righty here. Dolan offers, crack down the right field line and into right field for a single. Hiskey is not going to test the arm of Spears. That throw comes in. Pickett's regathers it. And that has runners on first and second now with only 1 out for the cleanup man, Phil Quantaro, who's 0 for 1 today. But regardless of the other scenarios for the other teams, the Oaks have to win on Friday. It doesn't matter. If they lose, then the Blues are in the playoffs, and the Oaks are hosting a playoff in which they will not be participating. Regardless, though, Jordan Brenner and I will be calling those playoffs on the CCL Broadcasting Network. It'll be live streamed to YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it as if you were watching an Oaks game, but not all the games, of course, will be Oaks games. First and second, 1 away. Dolan checks the runner at second and offers. Fastball, cracked down the line, barehanded almost by the third base coach. Head coach Roderick Hutchinson. He dropped it, though, and that's strike 1. If the Oaks do win on Friday, then they would play the Foresters on the 4 o'clock slot on Saturday. Because the Oaks are the home team, they play the second game of the day. First game is at noon. Jordan Brenner and I will be live at 11:40, no later, for the playoff pregame show. Sunday's championship is at noon as well. That's how the weekend outlook looks for you. 3 of the 4 spots have been clinched. No balls in a strike here from Dolan. He delivers. Ball bounces in the dirt, blocked by the body of Sims. 1 ball and 1 strike. But every year for the last 3 years, the Oaks' playoff hopes have come down to the final game of the regular season. Last year, the Oaks and the Blues were also competing for the number 4 spot. And the Oaks had to beat the Blues in the final game of the season to lock up the 4th and final spot, and that's exactly what happened up in San Luis Obispo. The Oaks won 7-2. 2 years ago, the Oaks had to beat the Blues, and the Prune Packers had to beat a team in the CCL who was known as the Neptune Beach Pearl. And both those outcomes happened. The Oaks were able to clinch a playoff spot. Split finger taken for strike 2 at the belt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So I don't know what history has decided or why history has decided to keep repeating itself, but for the 3rd season in a row, the Oaks have to wait to find out if they clinch a playoff spot by way of the final game they play in the regular season. So far, they're 2-0. They're hoping that streak continues to 3 straight seasons. 2 on. 1-2 count. Over to short, 2 hopped right into the glove of Pickett's. Over to second for 1. Pickett's over to first for 2. Is actually Lewis to Pickett's to Bart Wist on the 6-4-3 double play, and that gets us out of the top of the 4th inning. No runs to it, no errors. And Jared Hiskey stranded on third base. The Oaks have Drew Sims, Bart West, and Michael Spears. When we come back here, they are up 1-0 on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here in the bottom of the 4th inning, to my right, Jordan Brenner. To my left, our producer on hand, Sean McKinnon. My name is Jonathan Rifkin. Happy to be on hand with you. The Oaks up 1-0 with Drew Sims stepping in. He doubled in his lone at-bat back in the 2nd inning and came in to score on a sacrifice fly by Michael Spears. New pitcher from Kaiser as the first pitch is popped up by Sims into foul territory. Quintaro calls for it. He collides with Amaral, the catcher, and neither of them could get to it. They both were calling for it. Neither gave way, and that's strike number 1. I'm glad they're both okay. But Mike Jacobson's day is done. He went 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Justin Marlette from Kaiser University out in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to be exact. The Sun Conference in the NAIA. Lefty here as an 0-1 count to Sims. Toes the rubber and offers the 0-1. Fastball up at 71 miles an hour popped up on the first base side. Quintaro, this time, no, it pops out of his glove. He had it and he dropped it.
They're going to call it a foul ball, too. Wow.
He had the ball in foul territory. It popped out of his glove into fair territory. Because he was in foul territory when he made contact, that is a foul ball. But Drew Sims is smiling right now as Bart West hands him his bat. I hope that Quintaro isn't in his own head. That is a grave mistake if Drew Sims can capitalize. No balls and 2 strikes. The offering, a curveball at 59 miles an hour outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Oaks are much better at hitting fast pitching versus slow pitching. And right here, some of the slowest we've seen all season. 1-2, a 1-hopper back up to the mound, gloved by Marlette. The lefty fires it over to first Quintaro. This time he makes the grab. And out number 1 here in the 4th inning is on the board.
Yeah, the Oaks have seen Marlette twice so far this season, and he's actually been pretty tricky. He's gone, before this game, he went 2 1/3 innings, and he gave up 3 hits and only 1 run. He struck out or 2 batters, and the Oaks have a tough time squaring him up.
First pitch to David Martinez. Oh, excuse me, to Bart West. My mistake, on the wrong side of things. Gets hit, and he's over at first base. We got a question on our stream. Where's Chase Cockrell? Chase Cockrell is currently acting as butler for the team. He is not in the lineup today, getting a much-deserved day off. He's played every game since he's joined the team. And Dave Solis and Chase Cockrell both agreed that he deserves a day off. The team was in Anaheim yesterday at the Angel game. They got to take batting practice with the Angels. It was a pretty cool experience. And so it's not like they had a day off yesterday. First pitch misses away. West was almost caught off the bag, but he gets off safely. So Chase Cockrell not in the lineup. Jordan McFarland not in the lineup. Shams Shaken not in the lineup. A couple of normal Oak starters getting the day off. Again, Friday being a big game. Dave Solis wants everybody to have an opportunity here with Tuesday and Wednesday not being as important as the bunt gets down by Spears. Over to second goes West, and the throw is made to first for out number 2, but the sacrifice bunt puts Bart West in the scoring position.
Michael Spears, you know he really wanted to take a swing there. You know, I mean, here's a guy, Justin Marlette. He's been a good pitcher for the Cubs, but he's an NAIA guy throwing to an SEC baseball player. But Spears always has what's best for the team in mind, and he laid down a bunt to get West over to second base.
He's now 0 for 0 still, 2 sacrifices, but 1 RBI, the lone RBI of the ball game. Andrew Lucas takes a 47-mile-an-hour curveball upstairs for ball 1. That has to be the slowest pitch we've seen this season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's interesting.
Lucas is 1 for 1 today with a double. Hit here would bring in West. Foul tips a 72-mile-an-hour off for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike here to the Ventura County High School Player of the Year. Be attending CSUN here in a couple of weeks. It's crazy. We're almost at the end of July. Most of these guys will be checking into their respective universities in a couple of weeks. Some go back right after the season. 1-1 pitch, a fastball at 71 upstairs for ball 2. It's crazy. The last week of the season kicked off today.
And these guys, they're all baseball all the time. They don't get a summer break.
They don't. They go fall ball to spring baseball, which is the regular season. Some of them have postseason, College World Series, if you will, and then they go straight to their summer jobs. Swinging a bat for a collegiate team. 2-1. Through the gap into left field, off the diving glove of Guardino. Rounding third and coming home is West, and Lucas is going to leg it out to second. The throw bounces out of the glove of O'Connor, and that's an RBI double by Andrew Lucas. He has 2 on the game when the Oaks lead 2-0.
How about an infield hustle double for Andrew Lucas? He hit the ball hard and was hustling immediately. That's why the Michael Spears sacrifice bunt was so important. That bunt allowed Bart West to come around and score, and Andrew Lucas keeps on slugging in non-league games.
2 away, 1 around, and 1 on for Tanner Wright, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out to third. The lone Division III player in this lineup. The first pitch, a liner right into the glove of O'Connor at second base. He makes the catch for out number 3. 1 pitch, 1 out there for Tanner Wright, but out number 3 here on the inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 4 have come and gone here from Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks have taken a 2-0 lead. When we come back, the 5, 6, and 7 batters for the Cubs on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Top of the 5th inning here for David Martinez. He's 0 for 1 with a pop out to third. Balin Markridge and Carson O'Connor, the next two due up after him. The Oaks up 2-0 here. Scoring a run on Bart West, who advanced an RBI double by Andrew Lucas. And the first pitch to Martinez rolls into right field for a leadoff single. So after Aiden Dolan retired the first 9 batters through the first 3 innings, he gave up a single to lead off Jared Hiskey in the 4th. Brock Morton also singled. And right here, David Martinez gives off a single to lead off of the 5th inning for the Cubs. Balin Markridge now, he's stepping in 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging. That was the 3rd of 5 here for Dolan today. Lanky lefty digs in. Dolan on the mound, toes the rubber, and he offers the first pitch. Fastball low, ball 1. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Oaks. No runs, 3 hits for the Cubs. The Oaks have left 4 on base, 1 in each inning. Cubs have left 1 on base the entire game. That was once back in the 4th. The Oxnard College product deals the 1-0. That one at the knees for strike 1.
The Cubs are swinging the bat pretty well. They can't get those extra base hits that allow them to drive in the runners necessary to keep up with the Oaks, but you got to give it to them. The Oaks are a much more talented team, but they're hanging in there.
Dolan taking his time, deals the 1-1, a foul tip back for strike 2. Nice day here at the ballpark. We have a heat warning. Yesterday through Thursday, it's supposed to be in the mid-triple digits here from 100 to 110 in the Thousand Oaks area, which almost never happens over the summer. Normally that's more towards the San Fernando Valley. Gets between 100 and 115. But here today, hit 105 earlier. Now in the mid-80s with a breeze. I'm sure everybody's happy about that. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dolan receives, rocks, and fires. Splitter upstairs for ball 2. Reiteration of the Oaks field for you here. Michael Spears in right, Elijah Alexander in center, Andrew Lucas in left, Bart West at first, Will Pickett at second, Brandon Lewis at short, and Tanner Wright at third. Behind the dish is Drew Sims. The Oaks did a great job this past weekend limiting arms. They only threw 4 on Saturday and Sunday combined, the 2-2 in. Upstairs, ball 3, a full count now to Markridge. That's a big deal. In the 9-3 win against the Foresters on Saturday, the Oaks started off throwing Friedman, who went 7 innings, and then they ended it with Angus Denton. And then in Sunday's 1-0 loss to the Foresters, Dylan Francis went 7 innings, and Jackson Simonsgaard closed it out. That's a positive sign if you're the Oaks because payoff pitch, by the way, high fastball cracked back. We'll do it again. It's a good sign because the Oaks are are going to need to rely on most of their pitchers if they end up winning on Friday. Because come Saturday, everybody will need to be on their A game if they want to beat the Foresters. Again, the only chance the Oaks have at a third seed is if the Riptide lose to the Barons today, and then lose to the Prune Packers on Thursday as well. The Oaks have to win on Friday no matter what to punch their ticket to the playoff. Payoff pitch. Upstairs, ball 4, and Markridge fights his way to the first walk here on the ballgame for the Cubs. David Martinez over to second.
Aiden Dolan started the game very crisp and efficient, throwing strikes constantly. But the last few minutes or so, he's struggled throwing that ball across the plate. Let's see how he recovers in a tough pickle right here.
Already into the top of the 5th, and we're only an hour into the ballgame. It's really been flying by. The Oaks play the Orange County Surf tomorrow in an interleague game. Carson O'Connor steps in, immediately shows bunt. Dolan's fastball right past his bunt attempt bat for strike 1. This would be a good situation with the tying runner at first base to bunt them over with no outs. I'll put 2 runners in scoring position with the tying run at second base. Ryan Guardino's been struggling this season, and he's on deck. Dolan comes set from the belt, checks the runner at second and offers the 0-1. Bunt shown, it gets down but fouled for strike 2. Now O'Connor's put in a precarious situation. Does he go back to the button and hope he at least gets it down, or does he wave the bat here down 0-2 in the count?
Hutchinson's got to let him swing the bat here because you can't take a strikeout on another missed bunt opportunity. O'Connor really had to get the bunt down. He couldn't execute a fundamental part of baseball so far in this at-bat.
Middle infield in double play depth, the 0-2. Taken in the dirt, good block by Sims. Ball 1, runners are held at first and second. The Oaks went 1-2 in their road weekend. Lost a rough one 13-8 on Friday up in San Luis Obispo. Then exploded and handed the Foresters their worst loss of the season, 9-3. And then in a pitcher's duel where Dylan Francis had the best start we've seen all season from any Oak, the Oaks lost 1-0. The 1-2 win, splitter called strike 3 at the knees, and Carson O'Connor is retired for the 6th strikeout of the ballgame for Aiden Dolan, and out number 1 here in the 5th.
Nasty pitch. That was a beautiful splitter. Behind Dylan Francis, I think Aiden Dolan has the best splitter changeup on this Oaks team. It's that nasty.
He's right there with Eric Ma in terms of the splitter.
Splitter. I forgot about Eric Ma.
Yeah,
that's the 3-headed monster. Ma, Dolan, and of course Dylan Francis.
Ryan Guardino now, who's 0 for 1, has 2 on and 1 out. The first pitch skied down the left field line, but out of play for strike 1. Bunch of SBCC products here in the Cubs lineup. Guardino being one of them. They also have a handful of Cuesta College products. Cuesta College, of course, the community college that feeds into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo up in SLO. The only 4-year university, I actually checked out, they have 2 4-year university players in their lineup. Brock Mortensen in the 3 spot, who goes to Cal Poly SLO. And Tanner Amaral in the 9 spot, he goes to Cal Baptist. The 0-1 is a 74-mile-an-hour off-speeder, hacked and missed for strike 2. And how about Cal Baptist? They made the move to Division II a couple years ago from NAIA play. And now they're moving up to D1. They're going to be taking Cal State Bakerfield's spot in the Big West. Bakersfield moving to the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC. Big shakeups coming to the West Coast. The Pac-12 is in talks to make it the Pac-16 by 2022.
Really? Adding who, Jonathan?
So here's the idea. They want to add in Boise State and the University of Nevada first. They want to drop Washington State and put them in the Mountain West, which I think is perfectly okay.
I agree with that.
The 0-2 here to the lefty. Called strike 3 at the knees. Back-to-back splitters. Guardino sent down the 2nd strikeout in a row by way of looking. 7 on the game for Dolan. He's dealing now. But University of Nevada, as well as Boise State, both want in on the Pac-12. Not only that, but Hawaii wants in on the Pac-12, and so does UNLV. So the idea here is to make Hawaii an affiliate of the Pac-12, to make UNLV an affiliate of the Pac-12, and to add University of Nevada, Reno, and to add Boise State. The first pitch here to Tanner Amaral at the knees for strike one.
Well, I think Boise State and Nevada are slam dunks.
Absolutely.
And you talk about what Boise State has done in football. I mean, last year they beat Oregon. They snapped their home winning streak at Oregon. So their basketball program is no joke either.
And remember, they beat Oregon in the bowl. They beat Oregon in bowl games, I think 6 and 11 times. Those two teams have matched up going back to 1999. 0-1 pitch, bounces in the dirt, gets away from Sims, and on the pass ball, Martinez and Markridge are in scoring position, but 2 outs and a 1-1 count on the board. So, yeah, the Pac-12 was looking for a shakeup. I think it will become the Pac-14. I think that Boise State is a Power 5 school, by all means. And I think that Nevada Reno needs an opportunity because their basketball is becoming competitive. They're getting good football recruits. And I think Washington State does need to rethink their ability to participate in the Pac-12 because they just aren't competitive in any sport. Their most competitive sport is women's volleyball, and they still finish consistently in the 4th spot or lower. So that's the idea between the re-leaguing here in the Pac-12. The 1-1. Off-speeder at the knees, strike 2, and Dolan absolutely filthy with that off-speed pitch. He's looking for another strikeout here. That will be his 3rd in a row and 8th on the game. But that's the hypothetical. Boise State, regardless. I think that if they drop Washington State and add Boise State, everybody would be happy.
Yeah, I mean, and there are some other schools that you could add here and there. New Mexico, San Diego State, BYU.
So San Diego State's the other interesting story. The 1-2 called strike 3. We'll have to leave it there. 3 consecutive punch-outs looking gives Dolan 8 on the game, and he strands the runners in scoring position. No runs on 1 hit, no errors. Martinez left at 3rd. Markridge left at 2nd. We're through 4.5 here from George Sparky Anderson Field. Caneo up 2-0. They have the top of the order. Pickett's, Lewis, and Alexander due up on the other side of the break on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here, Will Pickett, who's headed to Cal State Bakersfield in the fall. Digs in here, 1 for 2 with a double and a fly out. We're just talking about re-leaguing. Of course, Bakersfield making the move to the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC, from the Big West. The first pitch to Pickett's upstairs for ball 1. And they're actually thinking about adding some more NCAA sports to the Thousand Oaks area. Currently, there's a couple of schools in the greater Los Angeles area that participate, but here in Thousand Oaks, a suburb of Los Angeles, as Marlette deals another fastball on the outside corner to even the count. The only division, or the only NCAA recognized university is California Lutheran University. Now, of course, a couple of years ago, back in 2011, they opened up Cal State Channel Islands, the 1-1 upstairs, ball 2. Channel Islands is not recognized by the NAIA or the NCAA. And there's this idea that if Cal State Channel Islands can receive enough funding, they can implement an NCAA Division II program, and they would build a baseball stadium as the 2-1 is delivered, skied to right field. Barthelmess takes a couple steps back and 2 to his right and makes the catch for out number 1. The idea is that the city of Thousand Oaks, in part with the NCAA, in part with Major League Baseball, and in part with Cal State Channel Islands, would build a baseball facility that would not only house the Channel Islands baseball team, but would be sufficient enough to start a minor league team here in Thousand Oaks.
Wow, that'd be crazy, and that'd be unbelievable for the area as well.
Remember, Lake Elsinore, the AAA team up north, used to play down in the Thousand Oaks area. They used to play first at UCSB and then moved temporarily into the areas. The first pitch to Brandon Lewis is slapped foul for strike one. So they want to bring one back to the area, and that's a big deal. That's not only a big deal for Cal State Channel Islands, but to have even more of an opportunity with a minor league team in the area would be incredible. This one lifted out to center. Under it is Mortensen after an eternity waiting for that ball to come down. Out number 2 now, 2 flyouts, 2 outs here. And Justin Marlette, who's not necessarily the most highly touted pitcher, is getting the job done. He's only allowed 1 hit and 1 run now so far through 2 innings dealt. Couple of shout-outs to give here with 2 outs, lefty-on-lefty matchup. Elijah Alexander takes a looping fastball in there. But for ball 1, he's 0 for 1 today. He was hit by a pitch, and he's also struck out. Simons Guard family, of course, Jeff and Julie, we appreciated meeting and speaking with you on Sunday. Alexander waves and misses for strike 1. Of course, Jeffrey Francis, one of our good friends here on the broadcast. We enjoyed linking up with him as well on Sunday. The 1-1 sliced down the right field line. It bounces off the first base bag, but goes foul for strike 2. The West family, of course, Brad, watching from all the way in Singapore. And all of our Oaks fans who've been with us all season long, Jordan, Sean, and I, as well as the rest of the Caneo Oaks crew, truly appreciate it. It's been a long season. It's been a fun season, and there's still some more work to be done. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marlette has his fastball fouled off of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Alexander, who had a great day on Saturday against the Foresters. He had 2 big hits, and it's funny because you watch him in lefty-on-lefty matchups. He is unfazed. Oh, also a shout-out to his mother, Monica.
Yeah, Elijah is one of those hitters who can hit slow pitching, but I jinxed it right there.
Yeah, right there, he hits a slow fly ball in the shallow left center. Markridge comes in, and I think he dropped it. He did. That's an error.
That is the first clear occurrence of the reverse jinx of the season. I mentioned that I jinxed it, and when I said that, the forces, I don't know what it is. It could be God. I don't know what it was. It went into the body of Balin Markridge in left field and caused him to drop that ball. I'm personally responsible for Elijah Alexander being on first base. You're welcome.
I'm going to strongly disagree with you. I'm just going to say you got lucky, and I think Balin Markridge had your back. Nonetheless, Alexander's on first. The inning is extended for Bailey Holbrook, who's 0 for 2 in the cleanup spot. Fastball outside for ball 1. Is there a cutoff for how fast a fastball has to be for it to be deemed a fastball? Or is it just the movement and the way that a pitcher throws it?
No, it's just how you throw it.
Because
Marlette doesn't throw very hard, but it's still
there are
fastball.
changeups with the same movement that are at 70 miles an hour. Alexander gets the jump, and they're going to call a balk, so it doesn't even matter. Marlette came off the stretch and veered Alexander. I think he gave him the evil eyes. Alexander just kind of looked at him on his stride over to second base.
It's almost as though Marlette was so fazed by Alexander's blinding speed from first base that he had to balk.
He actually balked so that way Alexander wouldn't get the stolen base. So that is not a stolen base, a credit to Alexander. And now Marlette's in his head. He's stepping off here, eyeing Alexander back. Feel free to chat with us in our YouTube chat. It's absolutely blowing up today. We appreciate it. Friend or foe, feel free to talk with us. Holbrook waves foul back. Another fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. But as we were saying, to me, changeups, yes, they have more of a front spin downward motion than fastballs. But the movement's not dissimilar. So if you're throwing a fastball at 70 and Dylan Francis is throwing a changeup at 70, how are we defining a fastball versus an off-speeder? I guess it's just based on the pitcher's repertoire. Pick off attempt, nothing doing.
What is going on?
And now a throw home that goes past the glove of, or I guess it went back to the mound and then went back home. I don't even know. I can't even process what just happened, but nonetheless an error. Alexander to third and Holbrook has a 1-1 count, and Alexander goes from first to third before the next pitch has been thrown.
That is an E6, I believe, on the throw back to Marlette on the mound. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention. It went right by him all the way to the backstop behind home plate. And Alexander pretty much walked to third base.
But yeah, everybody get your rally caps on for Friday's game at 5 o'clock against the Prune Packers. 1 ball, 1 strike, the 2 outs, runner on third, fastball upstairs, ball 2. That's going to be a huge game, and the Oaks will need your support against the Healdsburg Prune Packers. Or come out the game if you're in the area. That's probably key. The 2-1 in. High flyer down the first baseline in foul territory. Quintaro looks it over the wall for strike 2 in foul territory. Holbrook, a switch hitter batting right. He had 2 big hits on Saturday. 1 from each side of the plate. That was the first time we've seen any switch hitter do that all season long. And this is going to be the first time today that we've seen an Oaks batter also pitch in the game. Holbrook's due to go in the 9th. The 2-2. Line drive into right field, right into the glove of Barthelmess for out number 3. It's been a long bottom of the 5th inning, but the Oaks couldn't get anything out of it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. Actually, 2 errors and 1 left on base. We're through 5 full here from George Sparky Anderson Field to the 6th we go. Oaks up 2-0 on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Two 2-0 Oaks, top of the 5th, back here with you. Aiden Dolan back on the mound against Jared Hiskey at the top of the order. Takes a strike at the knees for strike 1 here. In the top of the 6th inning, Hiskey's 1 for 2, a strikeout and a single. And Aiden Dolan's performance today would have you saying, damn, Dolan. 8 strikeouts and only 1 hit. 0-1 pitch, misses inside.
How about amazing Aiden?
That's a good one, too. We're really trying to come up with some good puns. By the way, the Oaks have Tyler Ryan in the bullpen right now. I'm not exactly sure if he's just playing catch or if he's actually throwing a bullpen session. We were unaware that he could even throw pitches. The 0-2 misses in the dirt for ball 1 here to Jared Hiskey. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Oaks. No runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors for the Cubs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dolan rocks and fires. Off speeder, up and away for ball 2. Quiet day here at the ballpark. There's a handful of fans on both sides. It's actually a good turnout, but everybody enjoying the game of baseball in silence for the most part. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dolan offers. Fastball upstairs at 89.
And all the fans are huddled in the back row trying to get some shade from the still hot sun.
I think we got more conversation in our YouTube live chat than what's been going on here at the ballpark. Payoff pitch from Dolan. Splitter missing outside, ball 4. That's the second walk he's given up. Hiskey's on for the second time today. And for the third consecutive inning, the Cubs get their leadoff hitter on. In the fourth, it was Hiskey on a single. In the fifth, it was Martinez on a single. And here, Hiskey walks. But Dolan's still doing what he's been consistently doing all season long. That's been limiting walks and getting out ahead of batters. Only 2 walks, stage strikeouts today. Gabriel Barthelmess steps in. He's 0 for 2 in the 2 spot. Dolan nods. Sims gives the sign. The 0-0 offering in there for strike 1. Nice first pitch splitter on the inside corner. Dolan from Oak Park, California. Went to Oxnard College for a couple of years, looking for a new home in the fall. And something will come up. I think that he has the talent to really contribute on some pretty great teams. 0-1 pitch in the dirt, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Barthelmess. Runner stays put at first. And how about Drew Sims? His defense has been stellar, not only in this game, botting up balls, but all season long. Not only was he a snub for the prospect game, I think if they give a defensive catcher of the year award, it would have to go to Drew Sims, in my opinion.
He's certainly made his case. And going back to Dolan, I think he's done plenty, or more than enough this summer to at least give him a look to allow scouts to give him a look. He's been impressive.
1 ball, 1 strike, runner on first. Nobody out. Dolan hoping for the double play. He offers. Upstairs, ball 2. Oaks have an off day on Thursday. And everybody's going to be very antsy during that day because Friday, of course, is the big game. That gives the Oaks either a ticket to the playoffs or they'll have to
take it to their couch.
Yeah, enjoy the playoffs from home, even though they're hosting. The 2-1 fastball at the belt for strike 2. Evens the count here to Barthelmess. So Thursday is going to be weird. We'll all be on the edge of our seats all day. But Friday, it's going to be exciting. Tomorrow's going to be exciting as well. It's exciting here today. 2-0 the score and a pretty good ball game. And Barthelmess trying to bring Hiskey over from first base. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dolan rocks and offers. Another fastball. This one jammed up high into shallow left field side. Brandon Lewis calls for it, shading toward the left field grass for out number 1.
First time we've seen Brandon Lewis at shortstop this year, Jonathan, and he looks pretty natural. He was a fundamental part of that 6-4-3 double play to end the 4th inning. Looked really good over there.
He's a great fielder all around. He's played outfield last year. He played in left field a lot for the Oaks. He has the speed to play center field, though he doesn't very often. He has the arm to play third, which is his natural position. And today playing short. 1 away, 1 on. Brock Mortensen lines 1 foul for strike 1. He's 1 for 2 today, a strikeout and a single. Hiskey on first base. Lewis shaded towards the second base bag. Getting ready for a double play ball. Should have come his way, but that really opens up that gap between Tanner Wright at third and Brandon Lewis at short, which means if Mortensen can hit one opposite field, that could be all but good things for the Cubs.
But you can afford to make that shift when you have such an athletic left side of the infield.
Fastball misses outside to even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away, 1 on. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Oaks. No runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors for the visiting Coastal Cubs. They're from Santa Barbara. They're part of the Santa Barbara Grizzlies affiliation. The Oaks saw them once last season as well. The 1-1 cracked down the first base line. First base and co-head coach Lou Luca almost made the grab there, but just could not make the play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cubs do have a very qualified staff, though. Head coach Roderick Hutchinson is the head coach at Santa Clara High School out in Valencia. And his associate, his co-head coach, Lou Luca, is an assistant coach at Oklahoma State. The 1-2. Swung on a miss, strike 3. Good fastball buried in the dirt. Has Mortensen swinging for the 9th punch out of the game here for Dolan. Runner on first, 2 outs. 2-0 score.
And Dolan, I believe this would be the first Caneo Oak to have 10 strikeouts.
Yeah,
I'm not positive
I think,
about that.
I think you're right. The Oaks have been strucken out in double digits a couple times this season, but I don't think an Oak has actually been either left in long enough or has had quite a game where they have. Look at the first 6 innings. He has 9. Phil Quintaro steps in and takes a first pitch fastball in the inside corner.
Charles Peacock did it against the Caneo Oaks. The pitcher for the Arroyo Seco Saints only went 4 innings but struck out 10. I think that's the only 10 strikeout.
No, I believe Tanner Bibby did it against
you're
the
right.
Oaks as well on the Foresters. 0-1 pitch buried. Good block by Sims. Keeps Hiskey at first. Ball 1.
And you know who would have done it was Hunter Bro on the Foresters. We saw him on Sunday, and he was clearly on another level.
Yeah, he had 5 strikeouts through the final 4 1/3 innings of the ball game. He went CG, he probably could have. He gave no hits and no runs and walked nobody. He retired the Oaks 12 straight to end the ball game. 13, actually, to end the ball game. 1-1 pitch upstairs, ball 2 to Quintaro, who's 0 for 2, as I mentioned. 2 groundouts, 1 and 2, a 5-3 putout, and a 6-4-3 double play to end the 4th inning. On first base is Hiskey, 2 away here. Dolan hoping for that double-digit punch-out. He has a 2-1 count, offers. Fastball upstairs, back pick attempt. No, Hiskey is in there safely. West turned right into his hand. It was very close, bang, bang, but the first base umpire, who's shaded between first and second base, made the call. In interleague games, there's only 2 umpires, so calls can get a little bit tricky at times, especially on back pick attempts, because that umpire is not near first base. So he has to make an educated guess from the other side of the bag where the tag is not applied. The 3-1 offering. Upstairs, ball 4, the 3rd walk drawn here on the game for the Cubs. That puts runners on first and second with 2 outs. And David Martinez, who's 1 for 2, stepping in.
That's 3 walks today for Aiden Dolan, and Coach Solis is going to trot out from the dugout to have a word with him. Settle him down, tell him you got one more hitter to finish this ball game off with a shutout. And I don't think he will be making Coach Solis will be making a pitching change. I think this is Dolan's inning right here.
So we're talking about how qualified this Cubs management group is. Their general manager, Tom Myers, is actually a Chicago Cubs area scout, and he has been a Central Southern California area scout since 2011. But going back to 1998, he actually started the Santa Barbara Grizzlies baseball group that is affiliated with the SoCal Coastal Cubs. They fall within the Santa Barbara Grizzlies baseball group incorporated umbrella, if you will. The Oaks played the Grizzlies last year twice. But he has a very colorful history in summer collegiate baseball. As the first pitch in there to Martinez for strike 1. He was a head coach for the Brewster Whitecaps of the Cape Cod League from 2009 to 2011. He finished 63, 59, and 10 overall back in the Cod League. He was also an associate head coach at UCSB for 13 seasons. The 0-1 offering. This is low and away for ball 1 here to Martinez. From 1997 to 2011, GM Tom Myers was an associate and assistant head coach at the UCSB baseball team. He spent 11 years working with the athletics group, and of course the Gauchos, notoriously a very strong baseball program. He had time with Skip Shoemaker, Ryan Spilborough, Vigil Vasquez. That one cracked into right field. That drops. Rounding third. Coming home is Hiskey. The throw will be cut off, and now Hiskey will backpedal to third base. I'm not exactly sure what the idea there was because I think he probably would have made it. Nonetheless, though, no RBI single. Hiskey to third. Barthelmess to second. And, Quintaro to second. And Martinez the first. 2 outs here. 4th hit for the Cubs. Now with the bases loaded, Dave Solis is going to pull his pitcher. And the Oaks will have a new fresh arm here. With 2 outs and the bases loaded. Aiden Dolan, though, nothing to take away from his day. He's been phenomenal for all intents and purposes. His final line, 5 2/3 innings. 4 hits, no runs, though that could change. 3 walks and 9 strikeouts. Give me who the new pitcher is and the rest of this top of the 6th inning when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Kansas Jayhawk, Brandon Ponticelli takes the place of Aiden Dolan. Once again, his line, 5 2/3, 4 hits, no runs yet, but the bases loaded, 3 walks, that have eventually led to 3 outs and 9 strikeouts. Brandon Ponticelli, we haven't seen since June 27th, deals a fastball to Balin Markridge. Fouled off for strike 1. Markridge is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout to his day. But yeah, Aiden Dolan took a leave of absence for a little while. We're happy to see him back out. Or excuse me, not Aiden Dolan. Brandon Ponticelli took a leave of absence. This is his 6th start and 7th appearance. He has a 1-2 record and a 4.11 ERA. Forces Markridge to hop 2 over to second. Fired over to first, over the head of West. Coming in and scoring is 1. That ball goes into the dugout. So that'll allow a second run to score. And that'll be an error on the Oaks. That actually might be...
That's going to be a hit.
And an error.
Yeah.
So that's an RBI, 2 RBI single from Markridge. Puts a runner at first. The error advances him to second. Over to third goes Martinez. And now we have a tie ball game. Because 1 run came in by way of the hit, 1 run will be earned to Aiden Dolan. Another run will be accredited to his start, but not earned because it came around by way of the error. With runners in scoring position, now any other run that crosses the plate in this inning, as the first pitch is in there to Carson O'Connor for strike 1. Any other pitch or run that comes in this inning will be unearned because this inning technically should be over because of the error.
That was an unforced error by Will Picketts. I mean, he had no play at first base, and he still forced the throw.
Another fastball in there for strike 2. Ponticelli, as we mentioned, has that 4.11 ERA.
The Oaks are... Sorry, Jonathan. The Oaks are lacking juice today.
He does have 15 strikeouts and 6 walks. Forces O'Connor to swing and miss on the 3rd straight pitch. And we are through the top of the 6th inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. 2-2 score. Very close game here into the bottom of the 6th we go. We'll be right back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Drew Sims leads things off here in the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher on the mound from Santa Barbara City College is Joe Kinski. It was a first pitch ball upstairs to the UVU product. 1 for 2 today is Drew Sims. The double back in the second. He reached, then came around to score thereafter. He was also grounded back up to the pitcher. His second at bat takes one high to center field. On the move is Mortensen, and he makes the over to the shoulder catch, just towing the foul line, or excuse me, the warning track. There we go. For out number 1, that word eluded me. Thank you, Jordan. But Justin Marlette's day is done. 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, and no strikeouts. But right now, there's no pitcher of record. Aiden Dolan, who had 9 strikeouts, would be accredited with a no decision because 1 run is earned to him, and 2 runs are on the board right now. Bar West now stepping in. He's 0 for 1 with a hit by a pitch and a run scored and a fly out. Fastball outside for ball 1. Joe Kinsey, a little bit faster fastball than Justin Marlette. Marlette's fastball was in the low 70s, high 60s. Kinski goes between 84 and 86. So the rubber and offers the 1-0 to West. Off speeder inside, ball 2.
And I think today, for the Oaks, they're playing down to the Coastal Cubs. A lot of times teams will play up. The Oaks played up to the Foresters this weekend for sure. Today they're playing down.
2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Do you sense a little bit of lackluster offense out there?
I think it's not just a lackluster offense. I think there's a little bit of a nonchalant attitude going on with the Oaks. And that's hard because they have such a big game later this week. Why exert all the energy now when you have to save it for a huge contest later?
West fouls off a 2-1 pitch, 2-2 the count, Tim. And I think you're right. I think their attitude is luck. Today and tomorrow only mean something for the stats. They don't mean anything for the standings. But at the end of the day, the experience that the opposing team is getting is very key. The Coastal Cubs don't often play such high talent like the Conejo Oaks. The Orange County Surf, same deal with them tomorrow, the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bar West goes down swinging. The first strikeout on the game for Kinski, and out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th. So at the end of the day, I think the Surf want the Oaks to play as hard as they can because that's the experience. These Cubs and Surf team, the Surf tomorrow, the Oaks will play them. They're development teams, more so than the Oaks. These are guys that City College is looking to transfer and who need more experience at the baseball level to get looks. And they don't play teams like this, and this is really good experience for them. Michael Spear steps in. He's 0 for 0 with 2 sacrifices and takes a fastball at the knees for strike 1.
Kinski's got a great curveball and a pretty good fastball, too. He's not a bad pitcher at all. He's dealing out there.
Wearing that light tan glove, takes a breath and offers the 0-1. That one bounces in the dirt for ball 1 here to Spears. RBI sac fly to center back in the 2nd. Sac bunt in the 4th. He's done a good job sacrificing his own at-bat for the betterment of the team. 2 hockey assists. The 1-1. Fastball low and away for ball 2. He had that sac bunt that advanced West to second. West thereafter scored on the double by Andrew Lucas. So Michael Spears, even though he's 0 for 0, finding ways to contribute. Nonetheless, though, the Oaks are tied with the Cubs 2-2 here in the middle of the ball game. The 2-1 in. Fastball outside, ball 3 here to Spears. Michael Spears batted 124 this past season with Ole Miss. 24 games. Looking for a little bit more consistency this upcoming season with a very, very strong Ole Miss Rebel squad whose baseball team was cut, or their season was cut short in the Super Regionals. Ball 4. Oh, that's called a strike.
That's a tough call, but Spears isn't complaining.
Yeah, now he is. Now he's talking with the umpire.
Yeah. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
That was a tough call.
Nonetheless, though, a payoff pitch here pending from Kinski. I misjudged that. My call was premature. I thought that was a ball because typically those up and in are balls. Payoff pitch, though, misses low for ball 4, and nonetheless, 1 pitch later, Michael Spears draws a 6-pitch walk. First walk drawn on the Oaks side of things this ball game. There's a 2-out walk here, runner on first, and Andrew Lucas, who's 2 for 2, with an RBI double in the 4th, and just a straight-up double in the 2nd, stepping in.
Don't be surprised if Michael Spears is running right here. Prime stealing opportunity.
Takes a 2.5 step lead off of first. He gets pretty good jumps. Kinski takes a breath and nods. Kicks and fires. Spears is off. Pitch is low for a ball. The throw is not in time. And Michael Spears swipes it back and gives the Oaks a runner in scoring position. The shortstop Guardino thought that was indeed an out, but Spears got his hand under the tag.
Tanner Amaral behind the plate had Michael Spears by like 5 steps, but hesitated for just a second, and Spears barely got in under the tag.
Lucas takes one the opposite field deep into the right corner. That's good for extra bases. Spears comes around to score. Lucas rounding second. The throw comes in. He's digging deep for third. The throw is off the bag, and now he has a triple with an RBI, and the Oaks take a 3-2 lead. Andrew Lucas, 3 for 3, 2 doubles and an RBI triple. Have a day, young man.
What a great swing from Andrew Lucas, and you're looking at the new leader in triples for the Oaks by himself. He was tied with 4 other Conejo Oaks, but just broke out for his 3rd triple of the year, and that was a big one. A go-ahead RBI in the bottom of the 6th inning, and now the Oaks have the lead.
And by the way, Michael Spears swiped his 16th bag. He's 16 of 17 this season. 3-2, the Oaks lead. Now runner on third for Tanner Wright, who's 0 for 2. Shows bunt pulled back, pitches upstairs for ball 1. 2 into the left field corner for Andrew Lucas and 1 into the right field corner. He's really covering from foul pole to foul pole today.
3 for 3.
Wright lifts one in the right center field. Mortensen, though, tracks it down and makes the catch for out number 3. One big run comes around to score, and 1 hit, no errors. And Andrew Lucas stranded on third base. We're through 6 full innings here from George Sparky Anderson Field. It's been a speedy ball game. The Oaks up 3-2. We'll be right back for the 7th inning on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back here for the top of the 7th inning, the Oaks up 3-2. Brandon Ponticelli back on the mound for play-by-play, my broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner.
First pitch, a strike on the outer half from Brandon Ponticelli. Jonathan, a fantastic job in a not normal, an unusual spot for you, the middle 3 innings, but still fantastic.
Oh, stop. You're making me blush.
0-1 misses high, a ball and a strike.
I'm like one of those whatever blushing dolls. I don't know how to react to praise.
Next pitch is outside, 2-1. All right, so we'll leave the conversation there, and you could reflect internally on your performance today. The new hitter is Ryan Gardino. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Foul ball into the parking lot to even the count at 2-2. To Guardino. Ponticelli kicks and offers. The pitch down and away to make the count full, 3-2.
So I have a question, Jordan.
I'm ready for it.
We haven't done trivia in a while. Actually, I'm gonna set you up. You're gonna get a trivia question here in the next inning.
Okay. Full count pitch. Ground ball, second base. Tanner Wright charges. Sidearm in time over to first base. 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. 4-3 on the putout.
Yeah, wow, we really haven't done a trivia question in a while.
What's my record this year?
You have one right question. I know
No,
that.
that's not true. We definitely have more than one.
No, you're like
I
5
think
and
2.
1.
Yeah, but you've
Or
given me
1 and
some
5.
tough ones.
Of course, I'm not going to play it easy for you. You're a smart guy.
Ah,
Though the other day you did say we weren't smart.
you're 50% right. I'm a guy. Fastball outside. 1-0.
How do we only have a week left of this, man? I'm going to miss it. I guess we'll be back up at Oregon together.
1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. A check swing on the off-speed pitch inside. And Amaral was fooled. Yeah, Jonathan, we're actually going to be roommates for a few weeks there at the beginning of the
Actually,
school year.
I'm going to be your landlord.
That's more like it. Foul tip behind the plate, 1-2. Well, I look forward to respecting your home. I look forward to doing my fair share of the chores around the house, and I look forward to just being alongside you because you are certainly a great friend.
I am instantly regretting my decision.
Amaral today, a strikeout swinging and a strikeout looking. Behind 1-2 to Ponticelli. 1-2 pitch, big curveball, misses outside to even the count at 2-2 strikes. Ponticelli, a slider and a cutter. Loves to throw those 2 pitches in on lefties and away from righties. 2-2, cutter just inside to make the count full again. His second consecutive full count. No action up in the Oaks bullpen. And what has been a surprisingly very, very close ball game today. Full count. The toss. Yes, he did swing, says the home plate umpire. A nasty cutter. Started over the middle, ended at the back knee. And it also ended in Ponticelli's second swinging strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, Ponticelli was really good the last time we saw him. He had 7 strikeouts against the Slow Blues back on June 27th. So trying to pick up where he left off in that start.
Back to the top of the order. Jared Hiskey looks at a cutter right in there for strike 1. Hiskey today 1 for 2. A base hit to left field. And a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. High on the cutter, 1-1. Reiteration of your field. Andrew Lucas, Elijah Alexander, Michael Spears in the outfield. Brandon Lewis back at third, Pickett's to short. Tanner Wright second, and Bart West at first base. Hiskey late on the cutter. Fouls it on the ground to the left side. And his first base hit came on a similar swing to that one. He was late on a fastball to Aiden Dolan and hit a grounder into left field. High chopper off the first base bag. It's a fair ball into right field. Hiskey hustling to second base. Will he go to third? They're sending him. The strong throw to third base is cut off, and Hiskey slides in safely on perhaps the weirdest triple you'll ever see. A high chopper off the first base bag, takes a weird hop into right field, and Hiskey is on third base with 2 outs.
That is a way to manufacture a base runner, and a very important one at that. What a way to get on third base. I think the first base bag, we know which side that bag is on in terms of who's playing in this game, but nonetheless, Hiskey really digging deep and did a great job.
Ponticelli, a ringing cutter right in there for strike 1. The Coastal Cubs, 90 feet away from tying this ball game up in the 7th. What an upset this would be if they come out on top. Slider gets away from Sims, but blocks it just well enough to keep Hiskey at third base. It's a heads-up play from Sims, being able to get to that ball quickly, and Ponticelli on the mound covering immediately.
I think that if Hiskey determined that ball was going to miss a little bit earlier, he would have scored.
1-1. High fly ball, but foul to the right side into the parking lot. A ball and 2 strikes. Action in the Oaks bullpen. Looks like John Vergara is up. Ponticelli on the mound. Peers in. Gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Cutter misses down and away. 2-2. Ponticelli looks focused and zeroed in on the task in front of him. Hiskey leads off third. The 2-2 pitch fouled into the Oaks dugout on the ground. And we'll do it again.
All right, Jordan, whenever you're ready, probably after this half inning.
Yeah,
I have my trivia question.
We'll do it in the bottom of the 7th, and I'll give some time before my answer so we can let our viewers take a stab at it as well. 2-2, Ponticelli. A deep breath in the pitch. Slider blocked once again by Drew Sims. So valuable today. Sims has hit the ball hard as well at the plate, 1 for 3. But one of those outs was a hard fly out to center field. Full count. Ponticelli, the pitch. Fly ball, deep center field. Elijah Alexander back to the track, and it's down for a hit. The Cubs tie the game. Barthelmess around second, headed to third. And the Cubs tie the game on 2 straight triples. 3-3 ball game here in the top of the 7th.
What resilience by a Coastal Cub team who knows they have something to prove. It went right at Brandon Ponticelli. Barthelmess absolutely fought off to his heart's desire some of the hardest pitches he has seen today. And then he finally forced on a 3-2 pitch a bad fastball from Brandon Ponticelli that he absolutely smothered out there to right center field. What a triple right there.
Brock Mortensen takes a cutter 90 miles an hour down and in. It's 1-0. Mortensen today 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. A chance to put the go-ahead RBI on the board. But he swings through another cutter to even the count at 1.
If the Oaks trail, Jordan, do we see Chase Cockrell or Jordan McFarland come in as a pinch hitter?
It wouldn't surprise me if we see them take home run swings off the bench. 1-1, a rip and a miss.
The Oaks do have John Vergara warming up, too, in their bullpen.
Yeah, Vergara, one of the premier lefties in the CCL, one of the premier relievers on this team. 1-2, the pitch. Ground ball, will it get through? Tanner Wright can't field it. An error, and the Cubs are on top 4-3. Barthelmess comes in to score from third base. Mortensen's on first base. And the Oaks have given up 2 runs in this inning and now trail 4-3 behind the Coastal Cubs.
Wow. The Oaks outscored the Cubs 21-4 in the first 2 games they played this season on June 3rd and July 3rd. So far, though, the Cubs have not only matched their total from those 2 games, but they're up their first season series lead.
First pitch ball to Phil Quintaro. Quintaro 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Infield straight away. Outfield pretty straight away as well. 1-0 is low. 2 balls and no strikes. When will the Oaks turn on the Jets? That's the question. Will they turn on the Jets today? Nonchalant attitude so far in the game, but let's see if they can recover from that mistake. 2-0, and the pitch is on the inside corner. Make the count 2-1. Mortensen gets a good lead off of first base. Ponticelli doesn't check the runner. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on the cutter. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That cutter is something else from Ponticelli. His four-seamer has been the pitch that's been missing. That cutter's been more on. And typically when you have a split between a four-seam and a cutter, the cutter tends to be the one that misses.
Runner goes. 2-2 pitch. Foul tipped. Drew Sims
went off his
is
foot.
in pain. Yeah, I think it hit him off the foot, and he's been banged up quite a bit behind the plate. Let's see if he can shake this one off. Coach Solis isn't coming out to look at him, so I think he should be okay. But he's still limping behind the plate.
I have never seen a catcher in this league, and we've seen plenty of great catchers for the Oaks over the last couple of seasons. Juan Gonzalez comes to mind last year, Zane Williams as well. Drew Sims takes more beatings than any other catcher I've seen playing for the Oaks over the last couple of seasons. I mean, this guy, he is a workhorse because he fights right through it.
2-2 pitch. Chopper Lewis moves to his left and bobbles it. Another error. And the inning continues. Quintaro is on first base. Mortensen moves to second base. And what a disaster for the Conejo Oaks right now. But still a chance to escape unscathed. And here comes Coach Solis to talk with his right-handed pitcher.
Are we watching the Oaks or the Bad News Bears?
I really couldn't tell you at this point.
That was not only uncharacteristic, but inexcusable, as it looks Juan Vergara is going to come in and the Oaks will try to shut the rest of the Cubs down. But if you're Brandon Lewis, first of all, the Oaks have been switching up positions. Brandon Lewis went from short back to third this inning. Tanner Wright went back to second, and Will Picketts went to short. So everybody back in their natural positions. But on the move on a one-hopper, he had the ball. When he brought the glove up, he forgot the ball, and he just let it go. And that is, as someone who's trying to make their case for not being a first baseman at the next level, for playing third base, you cannot make errors like that.
Yeah, that was a tough play. Ponticelli will leave the game. John Vergara coming in to replace him. 2 on with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. The Oaks behind 4-3 in a ball game against the Coastal Cubs. The finish to the 7th when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Back in the top of the 7th inning. 2 on with 2 outs. The new hitter is David Martinez for John Vergara coming in the game. An inning, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts for Ponticelli. The first pitch gets away from Sims. Both runners will advance. And both of those runners reached base on errors. One by Brandon Lewis and one by Tanner Wright.
There's been sloppy Oaks baseball here in the inning. The sloppiest we've seen all season long. They're committing a lot of errors as of late. Last Tuesday they had 5. Last Thursday they had 5. On Friday they had 3. This weekend was the only weekend of the last few where the Oaks only committed 1 error combined in the 2 games against the Foresters. You're talking about a team that played up this weekend. They're really playing down right here today.
1-0 now. Vergara comes set. Gets his sign and offers high on the fastball, and he's behind 2-0. Vergara on the year, 13 appearances, a 1-1 record. He's gone 16 2/3 and has an ERA of 3.24. He's behind 2-0 to the lefty Martinez here. Kicks and offers. A strike on the outside corner, and it's back to 2-1. Vergara, a long look in. Martinez goes through his pre-swing rituals, and here's the pitch. On the outside corner, what a pitch to even the count at 2-2 strikes. The Oaks outfield is playing shallow in case there's a base hit, and they need to throw out. Quintaro at second base trying to score. 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Vergara's pitch. Fouled out of play to the left side off the screen, and the count remains 2-2.
That was a good tip right there from Martinez. He was very late on it, almost to the point of missing, but was able to hold back his extended bat for just half a millisecond to be able to make at least a little bit of contact and stay alive.
Vergara sends the 2-2. Off speed in the dirt. Drew Sims blocks this one, and the count is full. This would be a huge win for the Coastal Cubs. And a devastating loss for Conejo. Full count. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, not deep right field. Spears shifts over, grabs it for the final out of the inning. Wow, what an inning it was. A run on 2 hits, 2 errors, 2 left aboard. The Oaks come to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning, starting off with Will Pickett trying to tie and take the lead in this ball game. We'll be right back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Will Pickett leads off the bottom of the 7th inning against Joe Kinski. Pickett's today 1 for 3 with a double. And the Oaks behind 4-3 all of a sudden. Maybe they're a little bit more patient here at the plate. Pickett lays down a lovely bunt. Will it stay fair? No, it just rolls foul. And Kinski's ahead 0-1. That was a great effort from Pickett.
You know what that bunt was like? You know that like piece of cake or like that bite of ice cream where at first it's really, really good, but as you start to think about it and as you start to enjoy it, it starts to taste bad? Well, that was a lovely bunt up until about halfway down the third base line, and then it started to get a little bit of distaste and then rolled out into foul territory.
Yeah, that was the 5th bite of that chocolate bar without a glass of water.
Yeah, just a mouthful. You could tell where our minds are right now with the food aspect of things. But I actually have a trivia question for you here, Jordan. And I'll give our viewers an opportunity to answer it, too, with no incentive, so just purely for the ability to partake in our broadcasting antics, if you will. And I'll give it to you here after this pitch to Pickett.
Kinski comes set. A deep breath from the belt, the pitch. Fouled out of play. Pickett's late on that fastball, and it's 0-2.
So there's a player, Tanner Amaral, the catcher actually, right there behind the dish for the Cubs, who goes to Cal Baptist University. Cal Baptist University in 2010 was an NAIA university. They are the fastest university in the history of college sports to go from NAIA to Division I sports. They went from NAIA to Division II to Division I. I'll let you call this pitch.
0-2. Here's the pitch. Pickett's fouls it back to the screen.
Now, in Division II, they played for the Pac West. In Division I, they played for the Western Athletic Conference. They're moving into the Big West. When they were an NAIA school, Jordan, what conference did they play in? Back from, I think, 98 until 2010.
Oh, God. I couldn't.
I'll give you some former members, and you can make an educated guess. First of all, most of the members are in the state of California.
0-2 misses down on the way.
So that kind of helps you a little bit. Former members are Azusa Pacific, who's a Division II university in the Pac West. Biola.
I know exactly what conference.
Cal Lutheran was in this conference from 86 to 89. Concordia Irvine was in this conference. Fresno Pacific and Point Loma. They all moved obviously in Division II or Division I.
1-2 pitch. Curveball called strike 3. Pickett's goes down on strike. Kinski's second strikeout of the ball game. Brandon Lewis is the new hitter. Jonathan, I know this conference, but I forgot its name. This is going to bug me forever.
All right, well, I'm going to let it bug you through the rest of the 7th inning and maybe until the 8th, but you're a fan, one of our viewers, friend or foe, doesn't matter. Feel free to partake in this conversation, but their current members are all in California with the exception of one, Arizona Christian University in Phoenix. The rest are in Southern California.
First pitch to Lewis. Curveball, skied center field. Pretty deep, track, wall, and off the wall. Lewis to second base, and he's in with a stand-up double.
That was very nonchalant of Brandon Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. One of the teams in this conference, one of the schools, Menlo College, is actually the Oaks, the only Oaks mascot for a university in the country.
Jonathan, you have disappointed me with your caliber of trivia questions.
Why?
Today.
Because you're not going to get it correct?
That's exactly right. But I couldn't even... I like it.
That's like going to a blind food, like a blind tasting for food, and being like, I'm disappointed that you didn't cater to my taste. It was a blind trivia question. I didn't know what you were looking for.
I will have some firm words with you in a second. First pitch. Elijah Alexander bunts one foul to the left side, 0-1.
So, but you said you knew what this is. You said that you knew the name.
Here's what I'm going to say with you.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in you. I expect better, but I think we can move on.
Shouldn't I be the one who expects better because I expect you to get the answer to this correctly as a mastermind of sports?
No, that's not logical.
I have another fact about this conference for you.
0-1 to Alexander. Swings, he fouls it out of play towards the softball field. And it's 0-2.
3 schools in this conference are nicknamed the Warriors. William Jessup University, Westmont College, who is across the street from us in Santa Barbara, and the Masters University in Santa Clarita.
Cool.
You're supposed to guess the name. You wanted a trivia question.
No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, fastball away, 1-2. What's the new question?
That's not a new question.
Oh, no, not a
I'm
new
not
question.
rephrasing it. I'm waiting for you to at least make an attempt. It's really not that hard. And when you hear
all
the name,
all these are in California,
with the exception of one, but it is named.
Is it
after
across all of California or just like Southern California?
I'll tell you after this pitch.
1-2. Alexander, a base hit through the left side. Lewis is going to be held at third base. Alexander, a knock to the opposite field. And runners at the corners with an out for Bailey Holbrook.
So your answer is, for the majority of these teams, they are in Southern California, with the exception of Menlo College up north, and William Jessup in Central Valley. The rest are in the Southern California area.
Roderick Hutchinson trots out to the mound to have a word with Kinski before Bailey Holbrook's at bat. Let me just give a wild guess. The Golden State Group.
You are incredibly close, my friend. Wow.
Really?
Wow. Do you want me to give you the answer?
That was a wild guess. Go ahead.
The Golden State Athletic Conference.
Oh.
You were, wow. And you told me you were disappointed in me.
I'm very disappointed in you. I still am. It's going to take me a few days to get over it.
Well, good thing that we have a few days still together to bust each other's chops a little bit. The Golden State Athletic Conference, where Cal Baptist was formerly a member of before making the transition. The quickest school in NCAA history to have partaken in the NAIA Division II and Division I levels, all in the same 6 seasons. Pretty incredible stuff from a small Catholic school here in South Central California.
I'm starting to come around a little bit more on the trivia just because of my wild guess. The corner infielder at third base is in as we start the Bailey Holbrook at bat. Runners at the corners and out. Kinski checks Elijah Alexander at first base. Good chance he's on the move. The first pitch to Holbrook. Alexander does go. A pump fake throw, and Alexander steals second base. That's his second steal of the ball game.
He kind of gave Amaral a bit of a look as he strode in there like, I know you're not going to throw down because that would risk Lewis scoring. The Cubs don't want to give up this lead.
Next pitch. Holbrook lines one up the middle, a base hit. Lewis scores. The throw to get Alexander is cut off, and the Oaks back on top, 5-4 on a scorcher up the middle for Bailey Holbrook. 2 RBIs on the base hit for Bailey, and he's now 1 for 4 today.
Big stuff there from Bailey Holbrook, capitalizing on his good weekend. I don't know if he's being called off the base path because they're going to pinch run for him, but I think it's because there's a new pitcher coming in. But Bailey Holbrook getting all smiles right now from Coach Dave Solis.
A clutch knock for Holbrook.
Yeah, and Sam Shakin is going to come in to pinch run for him.
Sam Shakin will enter the ball game. Presumably, he'll play shortstop if he stays in. Actually, he's coming in at the DH spot.
Right.
He probably won't play the field unless we see a double switch.
In case you couldn't get enough of Holbrook, he's going to come in and pitch in the 9th. So he helps his case here with putting his team up 5-4.
Well, is he still eligible to come into the ball game?
You can come in as a pitcher. You just can't come back in as a fielder.
I had no idea.
You learn something new every day.
So we're going to see a new pitcher. We'll get you Kinski's final line, the new pitcher, when we come back. All of a sudden, the Oaks respond and are on top 5-4 with a runner on and out in the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll be right back. You're listening to Oaks Baseball, and you're also watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. New pitcher is Tyson Delkner from Cuesta College. As the new hitter is Drew Sims. The first pitch from Delkner. He checks Shakin at first base with an out. Comes set and offers the pitch. Drew Sims gets under one. Not deep. And that's going to be a can of corn in center for Brock Mortensen, the second out of the inning. Sims now 2 flyouts to center field today. A ground out and a double and a run scored.
If you tally the analogies that we've made here in the second half of this ball game, I think the majority, Jordan, have been food related.
What does that tell you?
I don't know. I think our minds are circling around dinner time.
Kinski went 1 1/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, a walk and 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, rough outing for him. The Oaks were able to take the lead, and he's technically the pitcher of record right now.
It's up to Bart West. 2 outs, a runner on. Takes a fastball at 82, high for ball 1. Quietly been one of the closest ball games all year, Jonathan. We've seen our fair share of blowouts this season. Rarely have we seen ourselves in a one-run contest late in the game. That's where we see ourselves right here. 1-0 misses away, 2-0.
No, this is the second consecutive game in a row. Remember, Sunday.
That's true. This is true. We've seen some great baseball this week.
Oh, incredible. Pitchers' duels, offensive explosions. I think Friday was the worst league game of the Oaks season, but they bounced back pretty well against the Foresters.
2 balls, no strikes. Bart West, a massive swing, but also a massive miss, and it's 2-1. Put everything in that swing to try and drive one into the gap or maybe out of here. 2-1. Shaken off of first base. He pinch hit for Holbrook after his 2 RBI hit. Delkner, the pitch. Shaken goes. The throw is a little bit high, and Shaken slides in safely. That's the second bag of the inning and the 4th bag of the season.
He's 4 for 7, Jordan.
Oh, Jonathan was giving me a hand signal. I had no idea what was going on.
Nonetheless, though, good jump there. It was actually a pretty good time throw, but off the bag. And Guardino had to leave his position on the second base bag to make the catch.
3 balls, a strike. Delkner delivers. Inside corner, Bart West throws his bat to the dugout. Thinks he's walked, but he's going to have to grab it and go back into the batter's box.
Do you remember the last time Jordan, an Oaks batter, thought a strike was a walk, and then they threw their bat back, and the next time they came up to bat?
I do. Drew Sims, San Luis Obispo.
And the next call, it was a foot outside. They call it a strike, and we think it was despite him because that's a little bit of disrespect to the umpire.
Full count, 2 outs. Shaken on second. Delkner checks the runner. A raise of the knee in the pitch. Chopper foul to the left side, and we'll do it again. Sun beginning to set. Shadows emerge on the left side of the field. The Oaks dugout and bullpen completely in the shadows, while the Coastal Cubs are still sitting in the sun in their dugout. 3-2. 2 outs. Outfield is in case there's a base hit, and they want to throw Shaken out at the plate. The infield straight away. A check of the runner, and here's the pitch. A hanging slider, and that's going to be ball 4 above the head of Bart West. West has reached base twice today. Once on a hit by pitch and now on a walk, but he's 0 for 2. Michael Spears is the new hitter. Spears 0 for 2. Walked, stole a base, scored a run. Also has he's actually 0 for 1, not 0 for 2. He has a sac fly that scored the first run of the ball game for the Oaks. Digs in. The first pitch. Inside and low. 1-0. The Oaks will be back here at George Sparky Anderson Field tomorrow in a matchup against the Orange County Surf. Another non-CCL game. An off day Thursday in Healdsburg. The big game on Friday. 1-0 outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Jonathan, while we have a second, why don't you defend your trivia question?
Oh, boy. Yeah, Jeffrey Francis called me out on the YouTube chat, and I have no problem with that. Not every trivia question is made for everybody, but the reason I thought of it, and I'll let you call this pitch here, Jordan, before I continue.
2-0. Spears, a big swing and a miss on the high fastball. 2-1.
You know, the Southern California area is packed with schools, but many people don't really think about the very intricacies of what goes on here. I mean, USC and UCLA get all the news. Of course, Cal Lutheran gets the Division III news. But there's more universities per capita, per square mile here in the Los Angeles area than any other place in the country. And I'll give you more on that, why that led to my trivia question here.
2-1 down and away. The catcher, Amaral, thought about picking off West at first base, but held on to the ball. It's 3-1.
So, of course, the Oaks 2 seasons ago had an incredible center fielder who just graduated from Arkansas. It was a snub. He wasn't drafted. He's now an assistant coach for a community college in Texas, Jake Arledge, and he started his career at Cal Baptist. He's originally from Huntington Beach and then transferred to Arkansas. That was back in the Cal Baptist Division II days.
3 balls, a strike. Spears tips one in the air out of play to the right side. Full count.
And I asked him, is Cal Baptist, I'm from the area, and I never even heard of Cal Baptist before. And he said, no, Cal Baptist never gets any recognition. And at that time, they were transitioning to Division I, and he told me about how the fact that nobody really cared about them, and they were the quickest school to ever go from an NAIA to Division I jump, which is pretty incredible to not only make the money and to not only get the recruits, to be able to compete. And so I thought, why not give Cal Baptist an opportunity to shine in the spotlight here on the broadcast?
Full count. Runners go. Spears tattoos one on the ground, but foul. Left side and into the Oaks bullpen.
And so that was where my train of logic came from when I formulated that trivia question to you, Jordan. Now, it may have not been the most impressive. It may have not been the most informing, but I think it shed a little bit light on a program that many people don't even realize is making big waves at the Division I level.
Well, I think you defended yourself valiantly.
I feel like a knight in shining armor.
And we can give you credit for that, but we're still expecting better tomorrow. 3-2, runners go again. Spears, foul tipped off the mask of Amaral and out of play.
Well, you're going to be taking a well-deserved day off tomorrow, so do I refrain from a trivia question then, or should I still give your filler, Jonah Malkin, an opportunity?
Well, I might be on the broadcast. I might be listening, so maybe I'll participate on the YouTube chat.
Ah, that's a pretty good idea. Yes, Jordan, for those who don't know, taking a much-needed vacation day before we hit the long weekend, broadcasting CCL baseball. But former Oaks broadcaster Jonah Malkin will be filling in for him tomorrow.
Full count, runners go again. Curveball. Inside corner called strike 3. The Oaks, a big inning, though. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. But they strand 2 on base. To the 8th we go. Oaks on top 5-4. You're watching Oaks Baseball. Don't go anywhere on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. The top of the 8th inning begins with Balin Markridge, the left fielder. Markridge today is 1 for 2 with a walk. He struck out and knocked a 2 RBI base hit. First pitch is a strike from Vergara. It's 0-1. Oaks have thrown 3 arms today. Started with Aiden Dolan, who was very, very good today. 5 2/3. 2 runs, 1 earned. and 9 strikeouts. 0-1 turns to 0-2 on a pretty immense swing and a miss. We are in the top of the 8th inning. The Oaks got the scoring start in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They added another in the bottom of the 4th. The Cubs roared back with 2 runs in the 6th as the 0-2 pitch is fouled out of play behind us. After the Cubs tied the game in the 6th, the Oaks added another run in the bottom of the 6th. In the top of the 7th, the Cubs responded with 2 more to take a 4-3 lead, but Bailey Holbrook knocked a 2 RBI single to right field to put the Oaks on top 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Wright bobbles one at second base, and that's going to be the 3rd error of the ball game for Conejo. Actually, the 4th error of the ball game for the Oaks, the 2nd on Tanner Wright, and this fielding is so inexcusable today.
That's the 3rd error from the second base position. Will Pickett, who's now at short, had one earlier as well, and Brandon Lewis at 3rd has one too. There's no excuse. You can't make these errors on Friday against Healdsburg. You certainly can't make them here today against the Cubs.
Tying runs on first base. O'Connor shows bunt, misses it, but tips it out of play, 0-1. Yeah, the last week or so, the Oaks have been very spotty defensively. Jonathan, you went down and mentioned all of the errors they had last week. Throw over to first base. A snap throw from Sims, not in time. Markridge slides back in safely.
There is a new batter here, Jordan, but they haven't announced who he is, and there's no number 10 on the roster.
Well, he shows bunt, and he misses again. Foul tipped onto the plate for a foul ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure who's the batter now in place of Carson O'Connor. Again, sometimes these interleague teams don't fill out an entire roster, and they'll add guys here and there, or guys will change jerseys. And right now, Carson O'Connor, who was in the 7th spot wearing number 30, has been taken out, and player sporting number 10 is in his place. We'll try to get you the name here if we can.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Vergara sets at the chest. Here's the pitch. Ground ball into right field over the head of Bart West. Rounding second, going to third, Markridge. Runners at the corners, nobody out. The Coastal Cubs will not go away.
Big stuff here from the Cubs. Hanging with the big boys of the Conejo Oaks. Of course, the Cubs, on paper, not really talent-wise where the Oaks are, but right now they're really playing well. They're 1 less hit the Oaks, 8-7. They have 1 less run than the Oaks, and with no outs, they have the tying run 90 feet away. That's very impressive, and they're making it quite a great ball game. By the way, that was Nolan Meredith. He was the batter. And now it's Ryan Guardino. He's still in.
Guardino takes a ball. Want to know. We saw Nolan Meredith earlier this season, but we weren't sure it was him because of the lack of numbers on the roster. We apologize for that. But Meredith is on third base. Next pitch high, 2-0. Actually, Meredith on first base. Markridge on third. 2 balls, no strikes. No outs. Vergara comes set the pitch. Outside corner, a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, Nolan Meredith from UC Davis. On the roster, he's listed as number 20, but he's wearing number 10 here today, and that's why we got confused.
2-1 pitch. Cubs trying to tie this game up. A swing and a miss, 85, sinking down below the bat of Guardino. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And just a heads up, Kyle Gonzalez, who came in to catch for Tanner Amaral a couple of innings ago, will be the new pinch hitter on deck.
The pitch, runner from first goes. Drew Sims pump fakes to see if Meredith was going to come.
And there's a batter's interference on the throw, so the runner at second, Nolan Meredith, is also called out.
Wow. I didn't even see that. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, Sims held back his throw because Meredith struck out and started walking over the heart of the plate. Sims was unable to get the throw off without belting the batter in the back. And because his ability to throw the ball was impeded, that negates the runner at second. That is an unfortunate play because, especially if you're Nolan Meredith on the base path, there's nothing you can do about that.
That's an unbelievable call, and Roger Hutchinson is getting his money's worth with the home plate umpire. He has been talking with the home plate umpire for about a minute now, and he's still confused. He's saying that Guardino lunged forward on his swing and a miss, and even if he did interfere with Sims, he didn't do anything wrong. So the Oaks catch a major break. 2 outs in the inning now on the strike him out, I guess throw him out, but strike him out catcher's interference call. Meredith is on third base. The first pitch is a strike to the new hitter, Kyle Gonzalez, who you mentioned, Jonathan, came in for Tanner Amaral a few innings back. From Santa Barbara City College. Takes a practice swing. A major moment in this ball game. Can the Cubs fight back again? 0-1. Vergara kicks and pitches. Inside corner. What a nasty pitch at 87. And Vergara had 0-2. Trying to wiggle his way out of this one. Comes set. 0-2, 2 outs. The tying run on third. The pitch, high on the fastball, 89 miles an hour. Tried to get Gonzalez fishing, but he laid off. Nick Ringcover is warming up in the Oaks bullpen. 1-2 pitch. Fouled back to the screen. Gonzalez doing whatever he can to stay alive in this tough lefty-on-lefty matchup.
Look for Vergara to throw his wicked breaking pitch here, especially to a lefty. His control has been really good recently, and right here for the Cubs in a big spot, he's not looking to give any free passes.
1-2 pitch. Called strike 3 at the knees. The Oaks somehow, some way, get out of the jam here in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs on a hit, an error, and a runner stranded on third base. The Oaks clinging with, they're clinging very hard to that 5-4 lead. We're on to the bottom of the 8th inning on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Andrew Lucas leads off for the Oaks in the bottom of the 8th inning. Lucas today is having himself quite the day. 2 doubles and a triple on the afternoon. Playing left field today, he rakes in non-league games, as we've talked about today. Still on the mound, Tyson Delkner kicks and offers. The first pitch fouled back to the screen. No balls, a strike. The Cubs had a prime opportunity to score in the in the top of the 8th inning. Had runners on first and third with nobody out. A strikeout, catcher's interference. Gave the Oaks 2 outs as the 0-1 is foul tipped into the Cubs dugout, 0-2. So after the strike him out, catcher's interference call, the Oaks had 2 outs. The Cubs had a runner on third base, and John Vergara went to his A-plus stuff, struck out the new hitter Kyle Gonzalez. Looking. 0-2 pitch to Lucas. Fastball high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of action in the Oaks bullpen now. Nick Ring cover up. And that looks like, I can't even tell. I think that's David Appleby also in the bullpen.
Yeah. I also couldn't tell for a second, but it is Dolan David.
A lot of Delans on this team, Jonathan. Let's get more creative now. 1-2, swing and a miss. Andrew Lucas goes down on strikes. His first out recorded on the day.
I'm obviously as good at making nicknames for pitchers as I am at giving trivia questions to you. So maybe I'll just refrain and leave the creativity to you, Jordan.
Maybe you should just go home, Jonathan. Obviously, I'm kidding. We love having you here. Delkner, that was his second strikeout of the day. As Tanner Wright from Cal Lutheran University comes to the plate. Hits one high, hits one deep left field. Not deep enough, though. Mark Rich under it, makes the catch. Jonathan, you were waving that ball out of there, almost hopeful to see Tanner Wright's first home run of the season.
We saw him hit a couple in batting practice in Santa Barbara, and we know he has the power. This is his home field here at Cal Lutheran. He's yet to hit one this season, so it just would have been a nice, refreshing sight to see someone like Tanner Wright, who actually I think he was trying to hit a home run there. He was upset with his performance on that, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was rooting for it to be a home run, but I think it would have been refreshing to see him hit one out of here.
Will Pickett's 1 for 4 today, and for his 5th plate appearance. Delkner comes set. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, a 2-seamer, 78 miles an hour, called a strike. Five runs, 8 hits, 4 errors for the Oaks. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Coastal Cubs. This is the third meeting between these two teams today, this year. Pickett lays down another bunt. It was a beauty, but it's also foul. That's the second time he's come so close to getting on base with that base hit bunt, but the second time he goes back to the plate disappointed. A little bit too much chocolate with not enough water. Teasing himself.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, that's going to make absolutely no sense to you. Earlier, Will Pickett had a very similar bunt, and I made the analogy that the bunt was really nice at first. It's like when you take your first bite of chocolate cake, but by the 5th bite, you're without any water, you're unhappy with it, and it's spoiled. That's kind of like that bunt. It looks very good at the beginning, but as it progresses down the foul line, it gets spoiled by going foul. So there's some added context for you on where that comment came from, because otherwise it just comes out of left field.
Yeah, much needed context. Thank you, Jonathan. Providing something to the broadcast today. 0-2. Pickett's jam shot inside the infield. 3 Cubs converge. It's going to be the catcher, though, Gonzalez, who makes the play to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. The Oaks, 1 inning away from getting through this ball game with a W. 3 outs away, actually. It's going to be Nick Ringcover in to try and record the save when we come back on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. We're back in. Nick Ringcover is the new pitcher trying to finish out this ball game. The new hitter is Jared Hiskey. The DH, today he's 1 for 3 with a walk and a triple. Takes strike one, a big curveball from Ringcover. We last saw Ringcover in San Luis Obispo wasn't his best outing, but we all know what the lefty is capable of. And that's greatness. 0-1. Inside on a slider, almost hit Hiskey, but he dodges it, and it's 1-1. On the year, we'll get you Ringcover's numbers in just a moment. But first, the 1-1 pitch. Fastball, did it catch the corner? No, it did not. Ringcover has 1 save and 1 opportunity this year. His ERA is at 4.05 in 20 innings pitched. But he has 24 strikeouts. 2-1. Will it stay in play? Fly ball. Lewis just can't get there, and it's 2-2. And I'd like to make a shout out on the broadcast right now, and that's actually to our very own Jonathan Rifkin to my left. You know, we've given Jonathan a tough time today, both in the YouTube live chat and on the broadcast. But
you guys should hear during our breaks what they've been saying to me.
But Jeffrey Francis, if you want to check the YouTube live chat, he said it best. Jonathan, we all love you, my man.
Oh, thank you,
You
Jordan.
do a great job. Final week as a Conejo Oaks broadcaster, most likely. 2-2, a looking strikeout to Hiskey, and 2 away for the Conejo Oaks.
We'll save the waterworks for whether it be Friday or the postseason here.
The waterworks will be coming on Sunday, hopefully with a ring on our fingers.
This is my 172nd game for the Conejo Oaks broadcasted, so it's never been all for naught, and I appreciate the kind words, Jordan. It couldn't be done without you, though.
Thank you so much. Ringcover delivers an 86-mile-an-hour fastball low in the dirt, 1-0. And by the way, that's very impressive that you knew the exact number of games.
I keep track. I have a calendar. It's been a wild ride these last 3 years with this team.
1-0 pitch, low for ball 2. And Jonathan, that calendar, that should be given to Oaks personnel because that deserves to be in the Conejo Oaks Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. You will be remembered here for sure. 2-0 pitch from Ring. That's going to be a slider in the dirt. He's behind 3-0. And if he walks Barthelmess, he'll represent the tying runner on base.
Yeah, this is not a good spot here if you're Ringcover. You dealt the first batter well. You have to bounce back here down 3-0.
This time a strike, 84, sinking action at the knees. 3 balls and a strike. There's movement in the Oaks bullpen, but nobody warming up quite yet.
We were promised Bailey Holbrook in the 9th, but maybe they switched it around.
3-1. Outside corner, a delayed call by the home plate umpire. A timid call, but the Oaks will take it. The count is full.
Oof. That was an interesting call, but you know what? The umpire gets the benefit of the doubt more often than not.
3-2. Ringcover comes set, buries a slider. Foul tipped into the glove of Drew Sims. 2 strikeouts for Ringcover for this inning, and he's
talk about it time and time again. Drew's a fighter, and he gets knocked up more than anybody else that we see here in this league, and they are going to take him out. It'll likely be Bryce Vitt because Zach Kamenko's been acting as the bullpen catcher for the Oaks, but not a sight you ever want to see. Not only do the Oaks have 3 stellar catchers, but Drew Sims anchors them. I mean, they take a lot from him. If you look at the progression of Zach Kamenko and a Bryce Vitt and what they do behind the plate, that's in large part because of what Drew Sims has brought here to this catching unit for the Oaks. At the beginning of the season, Zach Kamenko and Bryce Vitt were not framing pitches the way they were. They were not giving signs the way they were. That all comes from the leadership of Drew Sims. And as a guy who is one of the best defenders at the catcher position in the league, who has one of the best arms at the catcher position in the league, and who has been super clutch as a bat for this Conejo Oaks team, to see him walk away with an injury towards the end of a ball game after he won't be playing tomorrow, and the Oaks are going to need him on Friday, that is not a good sign. And we absolutely wish him the best because not obviously his health is first and foremost, but this team is going to need him. And they hope that he can get back here before Friday because, again, nothing away from Zach Kamenko and Bryce, but they are 2 phenomenal catchers with incredible arms. They have great defense, but Drew Sims is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, no sense in keeping him in this ball game and having him battle through the injuries. And the new catcher is actually going to be Zach Kamenko coming into the ball game.
They switched him. Now Bryce Vitt's out in the bullpen.
the former UNLV catcher who's looking to transfer for this fall. And he's going to get a few warm-up pitches. The Oaks only need one out to finish this ball game up. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. They have certainly impressed us quite a bit with their performance today, knocking the ball around all over the yard, and staying alive. The Oaks, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 errors. Coach Solis won't be happy about that, but he will be happy if Nick Raincover can lock it down right here.
And I'm very impressed with the Cubs because they were able to stick with the Oaks pitchers. Dolan's a very good Oaks starter who has competed in the CCL. Ponticelli, another one. Vergara has been phenomenal. So for the Cubs to do what they did today, it's great.
Raincover, a slider inside, 1-0 to Brock Mortensen. Mortensen, one of the best hitters in this lineup, goes to a 4-year university at Cal Poly SLO. He's 1 for 3. He also reached on an error. Swings and misses at 1-0. On the low pitch, it's 1-1. The shift is on for the Oaks. Brandon Lewis, the lone defender on the left side. Ground ball up the middle, right into the shift. Fielded quickly over to first base in time for the final out of the inning and of the game. The Oaks escape with a 5-4 game in a riveting, exciting contest against the Coastal Cubs. They sweep the season series 3-0. The final game time, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Jonathan, as we bring you in for the post-game show, this was a battle for Caneo. They didn't necessarily expect it, but they did scrape by, and that's all that really matters.
Nothing against the Cubs here. The Oaks really hurt themselves with the errors. There were a bunch of errors that should not have happened. 4 runs on the board, only 2 earned. And the Oaks really, in large part, let the Cubs stay in this game. But the Cubs really forced the issue. Their offense was good. They stayed with the Oaks the entire game. They went right at Dolan, who did have 9 strikeouts, but gave up 4 hits. Ponticelli had 3 hits. Vergara had a hit as well. So get at you, SoCal Cubs. This was a really good game. And look, at the end of the day, yes, you took the loss. But you 8-hit an Oaks team that has been very hot, that put up 12 hits on Saturday against the Santa Barbara Foresters, arguably the best summer collegiate team in the country. You come into Cal Lutheran after being down 2-0 in the season series, and yes, you did lose this game, but again, you have to feel good about your performance because at the end of the day, the 4 core pitchers you threw, Jacobson, Marlette, Kinski, and Delkner, all did a good job holding the Oaks offense for the most part and giving the Cubs offense an opportunity to stick with this Oaks team, and they really did for all intents and purposes. I'm very impressed with what I saw from the Cubs today.
Some notable stats from today's game. Bailey Holbrook went 1 for 4, but had a clutch 2 RBI base hit. Andrew Lucas added 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles, and a triple. Elijah Alexander reached base 3 times, went 1 for 3. The winning pitcher is going to be John Vergara from the left side, and taking the loss today, Joe Kinski, the righty out of the bullpen for the Cubs. That's just going to about do it. The Oaks cling to a 5-4 lead. I'll give you the final line for both teams, and then we'll get out of here. 5 runs on 8 hits, 4 errors for Caneo. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Coastal Cubs. Tune in to Twitter, where we will live stream a Periscope interview, the first interview all season for our producer, Sean McKinnon, who will be talking with Aiden Dolan, who finished with 9 strikeouts. Got to thank everybody who made this broadcast possible. The interns downstairs, Sean McKinnon, a wonderful job on production. My lovely broadcasting partner in his final week as a Caneo Oak, Jonathan Rifkind. I'm Jordan Brenner. Jordan Brenner signing off. Good night. The Oaks win 5-4.